What's up, Level Uppers? Welcome to the Level Up Show, episode 281. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make the show Midori, and I'm joined tonight by the tech guru, Agent Vincent himself.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Streak.
Yeah, he's got a streak going. Thanks for joining me again tonight, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you. We're going to be doing more next-gen talk tonight. We'll be also getting into some Death Stranding discussion. As we get closer and closer to release, we're getting more and more impressions, I guess you could say, first impressions. So we'll talk about that tonight. But we got a pretty jam-packed show. There's a lot to talk about tonight, which is good. I feel like 2 weeks in a row we've got a jam-packed show, which I enjoy. I like when there's a lot to discuss. For a little while there during the summer, it was like, oh, man, there's like not a lot to talk about.
Anemic. For sure.
Things are picking up now again, which is nice. Towards the end of the year, I feel like that starts to happen as we get towards the big releases, of course, but then you also get towards some big events like Game Awards or a potential PlayStation experience. We also have Xbox with their what do they call that? I forget. X019, I guess is what it's called.
Yeah,
X019, XO. I don't even know how. I don't know if it's a 0 or an O or what.
It's not. Yeah, no, I can't remember what it is. I was gonna say it's ID Xbox, and I was like, wait, that's not it.
No, yeah, that's the indie development.
Yeah, I don't know.
X019?
Maybe
like Xbox One 19?
Yeah,
I guess
or something like that. I mean, the X1 bros are in here. They should know.
Yeah, X1 bros, help me out. How do you pronounce this thing? Does it matter? It does. It matters. Yeah, you never know. I mean, in past years, it hasn't been anything too crazy, but maybe this year they're gonna go at PlayStation because it seems like PlayStation's not doing an experience this year.
Does not look like it. X1 Bro says XO19.
XO19.
Okay.
Cool. Good to know. It is an O, not a 0. Good to know.
X019. That seems weird. I'm just kidding.
Just keep messing it up.
Yeah.
So you never know. What do you expect, Dave? What do you think? XO19 this year. We gonna get anything good? Anything surprising? You got any insider information for us? Something we can drop today on the show? We'll talk about a lot of PlayStation tonight, but we'll also get into some Xbox stuff later on in the show. But first, as we always like to do, we got to get into what we've been playing, and I'm going to start with you, Vince. I know you're continuing on with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Is that the only thing you're playing right now?
Yeah, as of right now, it's the only thing I've been playing. I've been trying to get done by Friday, and the great thing is, I haven't done any more main story yet.
You haven't done any main story in Odyssey?
Nope. Two big streams lately have just been straight up focused on side content and other activities.
Okay.
It's been great though. I've been having a lot of fun with the game. I've really enjoyed replaying it to an extent with Cassandra again, just because her voice actress does a phenomenal job with her dry humor. She is funny, and yeah, no, it has been fun. The level scaling's been kind of getting in the way of some enjoyment there a little bit.
Is it not overstaying its welcome for you?
No, I mean, but mind you, I can play these types of games pretty easily because they're competently put together.
Right.
And like the thing is, like there's certain things I don't like about it, but there's other things. A lot of the scale and a lot of the just overall playability of it makes it fun. Like I'm not a huge fan of the combat in Origins or Odyssey. I much would have kept it like Brotherhood or even Revelations.
Okay.
Even though people say that's too easy. This whole Souls-like craze that people went for it doesn't fit. It doesn't jive well with me.
Yeah, and I don't have it as a part of the show tonight, but I've seen a lot of the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order impressions are saying that it's taken a lot of Souls-esque inspiration. Souls everywhere.
Yeah, I think we agreed though. I mean, it looks a little bit more like Sekiro with Jedi, and I think it's gonna be a better translation in there. Like if Sekiro would have came out and then Assassin's Creed Odyssey would have came out and Ubisoft kind of dictated more of that style gameplay, I'd be more down for that.
I would argue those are all Souls though. I mean, it's all in the same sort of vibe. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. I would say, and even if you go beyond that, you could say what's the one with the samurai? I'm drawing a blank on the name. The second game's coming out very soon, early next year. PlayStation, showed it off at their E3.
Neo.
Neo. Second one coming out. Even like Hollow Knight to a certain extent. Has been very much inspired by Souls. Any game where you're going back to like pick up your echoes or your souls or whatever the hell. I called them semen souls in Hollow Knight, but whatever. Those are all. I feel like a part of the Souls brand in a way, and I feel like they wouldn't exist the way they are if it weren't for Demon Souls and then Dark Souls continuing that path.
Right.
Yeah,
that's just what I'm saying. I mean, that's the only type of the element in the game that doesn't jive with me. The narrative. Okay. I'll know more about how I feel about it. One thing that my chat has kind of agreed that there's a certain aspect in the game that they reveal too early, I think. And what it does is that really feeds in that whole, hey, you're not going to do the main quest right now. You're going to go do all this other stuff. And I think that's kind of a detriment to it, is because like the story actually doesn't really pick up pace until like this moment. But then in this moment, they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, here's an entire other side activity you could do," and so you just kind of get sidetracked, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's me in any of those games. Is I don't feel directed. Like I want to just go down the story because I want honestly to get through it as quickly as possible, and I feel like it'll overstay its welcome. But then I just keep finding myself drawn to other things, and by being drawn to those things, that's how it becomes repetitive for me. So I wish I could like avoid that, but I can't help myself from being drawn to a lot of these repetitive, what I consider to be repetitive side quests and fetch quests and things of that nature. But I'm traveling through this world and it just keeps pulling me away. Like The Witcher was one of the ones that did it right for me. Like every time I felt like I was pulled away, it was towards something that felt like it might as well have been a story mission, And
if I can say that, Odyssey does that very well.
Yeah.
And that's the problem in a way, is that every side mission has some sort of hook back to the main narrative in a way, for the most part. But like I just got done helping us rebelling on these two islands, right? It's one aspect of the story, but the writing behind it is you have all these minor characters that have absolutely no impact on the major story whatsoever. But this entire thing feels fleshed out. It's the mission that they showed off the game with whenever they announced the game. That's how strong the writing is with a lot of the side quests. And there's, of course, the generic ones of like, I need these 5 guys killed. Okay, I got that. Great. Wonderful. But a lot of the missions, like I'm running into like Socrates, the philosopher. And like there's these really great, like they're pretty much moral dilemmas. And you're like, I have to decide between these two things. I don't want to decide between these two things. It does a really great job.
That's interesting, yeah.
That's where I think you would enjoy the game for at a certain level, is because a lot of it is cohesive together. It's just pacing is just so off. Especially when you're early starting on, you're going to be like, it's been 5 hours and I just saw a title card. I haven't even left the first island. That's what makes it rough. And then just compound that by the entire mainland of Greece.
Well, for me, on my end, let's see. Bloodborne. It's been Bloodborne pretty much all week, hasn't it? A lot of Bloodborne. Finally jumped back into it. Speaking of Souls games, for the first time in close to like a year and a half plus. I took a long hiatus because I was playing the game back when I wasn't full-time. And it got to the point where I felt like it was starting to overstay its welcome, not for me, but for the viewers. And people wanted to see me do other things. And I had been playing it for 2 months or so just because I wasn't streaming that often. And I wasn't streaming long hours. So I wasn't going through the game quickly. So I was like, all right, I'm going to put it to bed. I feel like I got a really good portion of it done. I didn't realize how much of it I had done until this week when I realized I only had like 2 bosses left to beat the main game. And I was like, really? I was this close to the end? I should have just done it. But then once I was getting close to the end and once I now have the option to get to the final boss, I was like, you know what? I thought Orphan of Kos, I always hear about Orphan of Kos being like the most difficult boss to ever exist in gaming. And I was like, I really want to see what this is all about. And then somebody in the chat was like, no, you need the expansion to do Orphan of Kos, which is called the Old Hunters.
You're doing Old Hunters?
So I bought Old Hunters, which was a little pricey, I got to say. Still being $20. I was like, really? Still $20 for this thing? But I went for it because it's like a 10-hour expansion. So I feel like, okay, that's not too bad. $20 for 10 hours, extrapolate that times 3 and that's like a 30-hour experience for $60. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I've gone through it relatively quickly. I would say like I'm just about done with the Old Hunters DLC, but I am at Orphan of Kos now, which is the final boss of the DLC from what I understand. And it's It feels a lot like that final battle in Sekiro. It feels a lot like Genichiro, where you just have to keep doing over and over again and just figuring out like little pieces as it goes on, and you're gonna die a lot, just so many times. His first phase I've mastered pretty much. It's just that second phase now that I'm trying to figure out. And that was kind of the same with, which is sort of the frustration of it to an extent, because with like Genichiro, I had mastered phase 1 and phase 2. But phase 3 and phase 4 is where it gets nuts.
Right.
But you have to grind through like 20 to 30 minutes of battle to get through phase 1 and phase 2 so that you can die over and over again trying to figure out phase 3 and phase 4. So it's this, by the time you're at like battle 100, you're like, I don't want to do phase 1 and phase 2 anymore. I'm not even losing any health in phase 1 and phase 2. It's like, I've mastered this. Can I just get to phase 3 and phase 4? That's kind of how I'm starting to feel with Orphan of Kos. There's like, I got phase 1 mastered. I'm barely using any vials on phase 1. Just let me get to phase 2. So hopefully tomorrow, continuing on with Bloodborne Old Hunters, I will defeat Orphan of Kos. But honestly, I don't know, because I have not figured out his second phase too much at all. I'm still getting pretty manhandled by the second phase, and I'm not quite sure what I need to change. He does this sort of moving electrical attack where it like hits the ground and puts out these like sort of radius attacks, and they travel along the ground towards you, and you can jump over them, but jumping in Bloodborne is not an easy thing to do. There's no jump button. You have to hold down circle to sprint, and then while you're sprinting, you have to double tap circle to do a jump. And it's just really cumbersome when you're trying to jump over this electrical blast that is like traveling along the ground. It's like, if you were going to add this type of enemy mechanic, maybe the game should have had a jump button. You know what I mean? Because you can't like really roll over it with any consistency, and timing the double circle jump while sprinting is also incredibly cumbersome. So it's like, oh my god, you should have just put a jump button in this game if you're going to do this in the final battle of the DLC. You kidding me? That being said, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. That game is it's weird for me. It's weird because you know how much I love story, and I could not give any shits less about the story in that game. Even though there is one, there's a lot of lore, there's a lot of story told abstractly in that game. I could not care less. And whenever somebody comes in the chat, like a hardcore like Bloodborne guy, they're like, oh, like this is the lore behind this, and this is like the baby of this. I'm like, I'm just gonna stop you there, because I don't care. Like, it's just the way the story is delivered in the game is not something that attracts me. It's too abstract the way it's delivered, and I became so attached to the gameplay and just going through the boss battles that's what the game is about for me. It's about the world and the battles and the grind, and that's what it's about for me. And I enjoy the hell out of it for that reason. It's one of my favorite games of the generation for that reason. I didn't need the story on this one, actually. I'm fine without it. So
you're a brave man. It's funny. I was thinking about this earlier today. Actually, I was like, I've only ever beaten Demon Souls and Sekiro. Okay. I have never completed any of the other From games. Even Bloodborne.
I did like the Sekiro story to an extent. I thought that was pretty cool.
I just can't do it. But the thing is about Bloodborne, it's kind of funny. You are like, I don't give a shit about the story. The only reason why I enjoy playing Bloodborne is literally everything that's going on behind it in the scenes. Okay. And that's what I love about it. I mean,
there are many like that. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, it's okay. It is funny though how that game's art direction really pulls through. It's a real shame they never went back and even did anything with the for a pro version.
Right. They could have ironed out the frame rate a little bit, and they could have done, I know a lot of people really hate the chromatic aberration in that game. But I don't really notice that kind of thing, honestly. I'm not somebody who notices chromatic aberration. Do you?
I notice it when it's extensive like it is in Bloodborne. It does. Yeah. It actually can give me a headache a little bit. It's something minor. What doesn't help with Bloodborne is the darker environments so you get that artifacting look anyway. Like you can see the rainbow artifacting from it. And that's just when it's like something like for an effect really quickly, like, like not even like a lens flare, but like, a depth of field type effect combined with like, intense light and bloom.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. But when it's kind of got that whole, like it's on the outer edge of the screen, it can give me a headache.
Yeah. It's just, I think my brain hasn't realized it yet is all it is, and really hoping it never does, because I have a feeling once it does, it's going to be like a glass breaking moment where I can't stop seeing it.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that never happens.
Keep those eyes. Never see it, because once you see it,
Yeah.
you're going to see it everywhere, and you're going to hate every
Yeah,
developer.
and I'm going to hate
implements
you
it.
because you're making it more clear to me now what it is. So stop it. Stop. Let's go to the chat a little bit here.
Let's go to the
For
chat.
one, we had somebody, I think it was LOL Brohaha, asking what we think about Stadia. It's not that I'm not interested in Stadia as like in a general sense, because I am interested by the fact that it is new technology, right? It's something new and unique and interesting and never been done before. Thank you so much for the sub coming in from Doug, 20 months Prime sub. So that interests me. I want to keep an eye on it because it's starting something new and something that, as we're going to talk about later, PlayStation 5 might even be continuing to a certain extent. All of them might be continuing to a certain extent, but specifically a story about PS5 this week, we'll get into the next gen news update about. I just don't care about actually buying it or subscribing to it because it doesn't appeal to me in any way. It's just not meant for me. I'm not somebody that wants to play this on the go or wants to play games in a streaming quality with potential latency, because I have a setup here where I can play them all natively. Why wouldn't I play them that way? I just don't understand for me why I would ever play it non-natively. So that's the only reason I'm not going to be getting it anyway. The other reason is that I don't think it has good exclusives yet. They haven't shown me any reason to buy this for exclusive reasons. If it has a game that blows me away, that is only playable on Stadia, then we can start talking. But until that happens, it's just not meant for me.
Right. The thing is, for me, is killedbygoogle.com.
Okay.
They killed Daydream, and there's been like a thread that I've been kind of following lately about it. And the thing is, for me, is like, I think it's a cool, novel idea, but how sustainable is it going to be for Google to where they actually invest and keep investing in it, to where they're not going to be 2 years from now, we're going, oh, well, hey, Stadia is closing down in 2 months.
That's sort of the meme almost that's starting up now at this point, right? Like, where Google's done this many times. They back out quickly. They're sort of fickle in the efforts that they begin. I think a good example of that is Google Plus, which was supposed to be their social media Facebook thing. And man, what did I feel like they gave up on that so quickly, even though they didn't shut it down for several years. They gave up on that so incredibly fast. And yeah, I don't blame people for being wary that Google will do the same thing with Stadia. If after a year they realize that it's not really forming any traction, they might not shut it down, but they will stop supporting it and they'll let it die a slow death. You know, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, and there's some really cool ideas that they might have, like with just like with the whole instant streaming and like seeing a content creator playing a game and then you get to try the instant game demo. Like, there's some really awesome ideas behind that. But the longevity of the platform for me is like, I don't want to buy Borderlands 3 for $60 on a streaming only platform. I don't want to buy, and that's the thing that they've been really coy about that. And I'm just like, no, like, I don't know. It's interesting technology for sure, but it's something that I'm not going to throw support behind until I actually see that, like, developers are coming out saying it's been great working there. It's been great we're able to get content out there.
There's so many interesting things about it that were talked about in that opening conference, whether it be save states or just a streaming nature by itself. But honestly, I feel like Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony could all do it better, and they will. I think that they're going to adopt anything that they didn't already start developing already. They'll adopt what they talked about in the Stadia conference. They'll make their own version of it. They'll do it better. And like, why do I need this thing? It's all those cool ideas are going to make their way over to other platforms if they're not already in the process of doing that. Because that happens all the time. We're seeing it right now with Xbox Scarlet and PS5. All the same things are being talked about. They're not sharing notes with each other. It's just they have the same trajectory. They know what is on the horizon. They know what's going to be the next big thing, and they're all moving towards it to a certain extent. There's going to be, little differences here and there, and there's going to be, maybe a 10 to 15% differential in power or this or that, but they're all kind of heading in the same direction. And I wouldn't be surprised if, save states or whatever else was talked about as unique at Stadia isn't in some way, shape, or form being developed for the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet. Let's go back to the chat here for a second. X1 Bro is talking about XO19. Says, I bet some games on xCloud released, which just went into a beta of sorts, right? I believe. Right. I know that there is some some footage online. You can see the quality. I heard it's very good. I know Farcenter was saying he was really impressed with the quality of xCloud. So yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of streaming, being on the horizon. Let's see what else we had here. I saw from X1 Bros down below. He said, I could see content creators on YouTube utilizing it, records straight to YouTube on highest resolutions, etc. That is definitely one of the big things, is the connectivity between YouTube and Stadia. I've always said, and we've talked about this many times, Vince, one potential really cool idea that they talked about is, hey, 7 Remake coming out, launch trailer, has a demo on Stadia. This isn't probably going to happen, but just an example. Hey, I just watched a launch trailer for 7 Remake. I don't care to play that demo natively, potentially. Maybe for 7 Remake I would, but just in general, I might not care to play that demo natively if it's like a 15-minute taste of what the game is. If I can just take my mouse, click on a little button that says play the demo right after the YouTube trailer ends, and it just launches me right into it, and I take out my controller, maybe not a Stadia controller, maybe I can do PS5 if that's possible, or controller or PS4 controller, and just play it immediately, that's cool. I'd be down for that. I'll play the free version of Stadia for that reason. And the other great thing they were talking about was the idea of like, if PlayStation does this, if Xbox does this, you say this a lot, Vince, if we could do like 1 hour trials as part of PS Plus, being able to stream 1 hour trials. Yeah, if it's just like a 1 hour trial to get a feel for it and decide if I want to buy it, I would stream that. I would then buy the game and download it to my hardware and play it natively. But for just like the 1 hour trial to get a taste of things, yeah, maybe that I would stream. I could see that being a thing.
Right. I agree with you on that one too. That's kind of the thing that I'm not playing a full game on it. Not doing it. Don't care.
No.
But if it's for an ability to kind of test and see how things look or play and everything like that, or if I'm seeing someone play something cool, I'm like, I want to see what this is, then the idea behind that is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
All
so
right.
I will keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just not expecting much.
Sorry, I need to take my dog out. He just came down for no reason. I thought I took
Go
him
for
out.
it, man. I'm going to do Spiel Druckmann anyway.
All right. I'll be right back, guys.
Sounds good. All right, Spiel Druckmann. Let's do it while Vince is on his little break here. Welcome, everybody. We got 37 people in the room. Welcome to the Level Up Show, episode 281. As I said, this is a gaming dedicated talk show. I do this every Sunday night, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got a little bit of a new setup going on here, trying to do the new virtual set to deliver a more solo host talk show, and having special guests on like Agent Vincent will continue to happen. Hopefully Mike as well, once he figures out his schedule and how he's going to work everything out. We'll have people on the show still. It'll just be this setup with me as the only person here, like in person, right? So that's kind of what we're going with moving forward, and I hope you guys like it. Provide feedback. Let me know how we can improve the virtual set and make it better for these styles of talk shows. And we're going to keep it this way for now. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. I've already gotten a little bit of feedback on Discord, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it. You think it works, and there's some cool things that we can do with the virtual set that we couldn't do with the other, in real life set over there across the room. But just going back to the 34 people now that are in the room, if you enjoy the show, please hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/levelupshow. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. I'm not just on Sunday nights with the Level Up Show. I'm on every single weekday as it stands right now. You can check out my full-time variety streaming schedule in the chat. Just type in !schedule to learn more about that. We also got a great Discord, as I said, where we've been getting some feedback on the new setups. Go to discord.gg/the Level Up Network and find us over there. Be a part of the community even when I'm not live. And there's a few other cool things that happened this week. Vince has been having this for a while now, but channel points finally came over to the Level Up Show channel. It was a few days ago, I believe, that it was activated, and I have added a few things already. We're calling it AP instead of XP. That'll be the Twitch channel points, AP ability points. And if you click on that little symbol in the bottom left, if you have the browser chat, you can see the current rewards that are possible. There's the 5 that are default, which is like sending a message during sub-only mode, if we ever have that, highlighting a message, unlocking a random sub emote, modifying a single emote, or unlocking an emote of your choice. All of those are on there. But there's also things like Pterodactyl Andrew, something that can only be activated during something like this, the Level Up Show, or during Wake Up Level Up. That is something you can do with your AP. You can do voice modulation, not during the Level Up Show. I actually paused that one because I don't really want that during the Level Up show, but during game streams and Wake Up Level Up, you can do voice mods. Marbles is something you could do even tonight. There's Marbles single races, there's Marbles Grand Prix, all those can be activated for AP. Twitch shoutouts as another one. You could dye my hair temporarily, there's another one, and more to come. We're going to try and bring back some old school ones potentially that you can do through AP, and maybe come up with some brand new ideas that you can use through AP. So keep that in mind. We did have one sub already coming in from Doug Silas, 33, 20 months sub through Prime. Thanks so much, Doug. That'll give you a wheel spin. Once we get to wheel spins, we do several wheel spin segments, and anything worth $5 or more will get you a spin of the prize wheel, guys. So that could be subbing, like Doug did. You could do Twitch Prime as he did, actually. You could resub, pledge on Patreon, cheer, tip. We actually do spins for hosts of 10 viewers or more, pledges on Patreon, all those. Anything that is a support to the show of $5 or more really will get you a spin of the prize wheel. But then on top of that, we do have something called the 30-minute after show and the 60-minute after show. So you can see that at the bottom of the screen. We have the 30-minute after show for $30 in tips tonight if we hit that. And if we get $60 in tips tonight, we will do a 60-minute after show where media share is active and we are entirely focused on the chat. There's no agenda to go through. So you don't have to worry about us being distracted by the stories that we're discussing. We will be focused on you guys in the chat answering your questions and making it a more AMA type approach to the show. So you guys can stick around for that late nights. Level Up After Dark, late night Level Up, whatever you want to call it. Welcome back, Vince.
Yes, thank you.
And that is a spiel Druckmann. Sorry for going with a long one there, guys, but there was a few extra things to talk about this week. Going back to the chat here, Google Stadia isn't a spark in the pan. It's already sold out in Europe and then some. I expect Europe to drive the service forward. I think that is a little bit too early to say, just because, it's launching. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of hype at the launch of something new. Doesn't mean those people are going to continue subscribing to Stadia and things of that nature.
I mean, here's the thing, too. It's the Founders Edition that they just sold out of that was just announced at Inside Google, whatever that was. So the thing is, it's what has sold out on that is the Midnight Blue controller in technicality. Now that it's called Premier Edition, which is just the white controller, which is still being sold. So it's not actually sold out per se. The Founders Edition with the blue controller is sold out. And the other thing that's different there too is Europe doesn't deal with data caps, ? I'm pretty sure. Whereas most of the US still deals with that. So yeah, he could be right that we could have Europe being a driving factor of that, but it's still not going to be something that Google's going to want to keep. They want the US network first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I would say like less than 25% of the United States will be capable of doing 1080p, 60 FPS, maybe even. Definitely not 4K.
Definitely not 4K.
Definitely
Plus
not
the fact
4K.
that the research just came out that like everyone would blow their data caps. I mean, it's even gotten more through. Like it's even gotten more into like, it would be like, it was like upon terabytes of data would just fly out. So where the ISPs would definitely be like, yeah, no, we're not doing this.
The thing is, the attraction for me would only be mobile. And for mobile, I have like a 2 gigabyte a month cap. Right. I've got like nothing. I'd be done with that in minutes, literally minutes. I would be done with my cap. If I was playing mobile. I don't have a data cap as far as my Ethernet connection goes and all that. New Jersey, fortunately, does not have data caps. Thank God. But if I did, I'd be screwed with that as well. So, I think a lot of people are going to be screwed. X1 Bros, come to Utah, no data caps here.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I could have an unlimited data program with mobile. I think Mike has unlimited data. I just never have. I've never had unlimited data for my phone. But anyway. Let me bring in the TV here because we are about to get into the crux of the show here. About to get into all the agenda we got going on today.
Let's do it.
Big show today, guys. Lots of good stuff to discuss. Let's start off with our non-gaming portion of the show. It's called The Level Up Show Has No Game. 3 non-gaming topics at 3 minutes each. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
All right. I'm ready. First up, it has no game. We've got 2 casting decisions for Matt Reeves' The Batman. First up, on screen right now, we got Zoe Kravitz. She will be playing Selina Kyle, a.k.a. Catwoman. She is the daughter of Lenny Kravitz. But she's had plenty of acting experience. Right now, she's in Big Little Lies, for example, on HBO. She was also in X-Men First Class. That was one of the first things I saw her in. But she's improved a lot as an actress since I first saw her in First Class. She's a much better actress now than when she started. I think she has the look, at least. What do you think? Let's start with her.
She has the look. She has the look
Yes.
for it. And as the fragrance commercial is going on the screen right now, she's got the confidence for it, at least.
Right.
Sure.
She's got like a sort of edge to her,
Yeah.
a confidence, an ego that I think really works for Catwoman.
I agree.
There were some really good choices, though. I saw in whatever they want to call it, their list, their casting list that they were looking through. There were many good choices in there. And I think a few of them I would have been fine with. But I am definitely okay with Zoe Kravitz. The other one popping up on screen right now is Paul Dano. He is playing the Riddler. And I absolutely love this. I think he's a fantastic actor, and I think he sort of typecasted himself to a certain extent as the creepy weirdo asshole, but
Right.
like he doesn't have the look of like a douchey asshole necessarily. He's like a creepy nerdy asshole. So I feel like he's kind of perfect for the Riddler. I mean, his performance here in There Will Be Blood, which is one of the best movies I've ever seen, probably. But holy shit, his performance in that is absolutely fantastic. He's got a bunch of amazing performances, though. If you've never seen him, you should definitely check him out. What do you think, Vince, of Paul Dano?
I'm down for it. I think it's almost an inspired casting choice. I mean,
Right?
I think it's going to work. It's
much better, I have to say, than like Jonah Hill, which was rumored potentially, and Seth Rogen rumored potentially, things like that. I'm much happier with this.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Jonah was more rumored for
Penguin,
and then I think Rogan was rumored for someone else. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Much better.
Yeah, I just think I think I heard that even Jonah Hill was in consideration for several villains, even Riddler potentially. I don't know why it fell apart. It did fall apart. I've heard that it's done. That's not happening. Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, not happening. I think they're both fine actors, but I just think that it would have been a sort of barrier for the audience to get through, like seeing him and especially the two of them on screen together in a Batman movie. It just would have been odd unless they did a whole lot of prosthetic work, like huge nose and shit like that, to make it almost unrecognizable as Jonah Hill or Seth Rogen. Then maybe they could have made it work. But I think I would have been watching the whole time like, that's just Jonah Hill.
Right. I agree.
You know,
with you.
That would have been a problem for me. And there you go. First story done. Moving on to story number 2. Continuing with comic books here. Deadpool will supposedly still be rated R, even under the Marvel Disney Cinematic Universe, whatever you'll call it, because it's not actually in the MCU yet. We don't know. Because here's what writer Paul Wernick had to say. Quote, Marvel has promised to continue to let us play in the R-rated Deadpool universe, and the hope is that they will also let us veer into the Marvel Cinematic Universe a little bit as well and play in that sandbox. So it's not confirmed, really, that they're going to be able to mess with the MCU. I was a little surprised at that, but I'm happy that they'll get to stay as rated R. What do you think they do, though, as far as the Disney name goes? Do you think that the Disney name shows up at all at the start of a rated R Deadpool movie?
No. If anything, they might do a black label, kind of like what DC is doing now with some of the off-color films they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Off-color, that's not the word I want to use, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just...
I get what you're saying.
I could see them doing that. And the other thing, too, is it could be just a little bit more... You could still be rated R. Maybe you can have 3 references to the MCU, and that's it. You know, so that way there's not too much play there. But, yeah, no. I mean, I could see them doing it. I mean, Bob Iger has constantly said, we're not going to mess with this, with the R rating of Deadpool, and I think it's good that we're seeing that again. We're seeing more. Yeah, we're not going to mess with it. I mean, it's what gives Deadpool success. I can't imagine them trying to do this as a PG-13.
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Like, I think that it's better rated R. I'm happy that it is rated R. But do you actually think that they couldn't make it work as PG-13?
I mean, Once Upon a Deadpool, I think, kind of proved that in a way.
It can work.
No, like I didn't think it really worked that well. I felt like it kind of...
Okay, I didn't see it, so I can't comment on that.
It felt like it was still competently made, but it felt like the edge was completely off the film. Like it was definitely like not neutered in that sense of the word, but it just didn't feel literally as like, even that scene right there with him inhaling the guns, you know, like stuff like that wasn't there. So just it kind of lost a lot of the I don't know words to explain right now. Just the radar works. Trying to do PG-13 for it ain't gonna work. That's
Here is what would be sad, though, about not being able to play with the MCU. We know that they're working towards X-Men. We know that they're working towards Wolverine. They have to be. Everybody knows Wolverine is like the big draw. They're going to be finding somebody. Either they're bringing Hugh Jackman back, which was a rumor last week that I don't believe, or they go with somebody new. But either way, Deadpool, Wolverine, it's a thing, you know? And I would just hope that they could find a way to make these characters interact with each other.
I mean, Marvel's got the option. They can use that ending in Deadpool 2, and they have an entire window ready. It's just a matter of they're going to step forward or not.
Yeah. It'll never be Hugh Jackman, though, which is kind of disappointing.
Well,
I think it'll be never be Hugh Jackman. I guess I should never say never, because some people think that it's happening. I don't. And you agree, right? You don't think Hugh Jackman's coming back?
I mean, as much as I would love it, I mean, I would prefer that than Danny DeVito. Let's be real.
Oh God, please, that's a joke. And final story of Has No Game here. We've got another live action Disney adaptation on the way. It's not ending. I'm starting to wonder, is there going to be a breaking point? But right now it's not happening, because even with some of these lower reviewed films like Lion King, they're still killing it at the box office.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's what's driving it, is literally the box office success. Everyone can sit there and complain about these aren't good, but it's like they're making money,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Well, the next one that it was just announced is Pinocchio, live action Pinocchio, and the director that is in line to take this on is Robert Zemeckis. Now, Robert Zemeckis is a fantastic director. You would most know him for Back to the Future, I would think, but he's gone on to do a lot of different things. He's done Forrest Gump. He's done Contact. He did Flight with Denzel Washington not too long ago. And most recently, he did Welcome to Marwen, which I think is what probably got him this gig.
This role, yeah.
Yeah, because as seen on screen right now, Welcome to Marwen, it involves, it's based on a true story, but a man that creates, the figurines, and he creates like these worlds with the figurines, not literally, but that's what the film does, is it turns those worlds into reality, and it turns these figurines into animated characters. So his technology that he probably worked on for creating that, I would imagine, is going to be utilized for Pinocchio as well.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I was actually looking him up a little bit, so I was like, I should know that name, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy. It's Forrest Gump and Back to the Future. Then I was like, oh, he directed Beowulf and The Polar Express.
Yeah, so he went through a period of time where he was really into CGI animation.
Yeah,
and he did 3 of them. He did Polar Express, then Beowulf, then Christmas Carol.
Right.
The best of the 3 was Beowulf, in my opinion, but
Beowulf
all of them
was
were
amazing.
not great. And it was like a period of time where it's like, come on, Zemeckis. Like, I get that you're like into this technology, but it's not working out, man. Like, get back to what you do well. And I feel like Flight was probably when he started to get back into doing what he does well, which wasn't like a fantastic movie, but it was good. I liked Flight. I think it was a little long in the tooth, and its last like quarter wasn't as strong. But he's come back. I think he also did Man on Wire. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Man on Wire. It had Joseph Gordon-Levitt, walking across these buildings on a wire. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure Robert Zemeckis did that one. And Welcome to Marwen, I think, was not too long after that. That's kind of been his trajectory since then. But the guy is a fantastic director.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to kind of get back to his roots a little bit. I'm a little worried to an extent, because when he does get real into CGI, that is when he kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel he loses sight of what is important. Like,
Right.
even Welcome to Marwen didn't review very well. Oh, Castaway. Yes, of course. He did Castaway,
Right.
which is a great one. Yeah, just focus on the human element. And I think that that is when he does the best.
Yep.
So we'll have to wait and see that. Like, how interested are you in a Pinocchio? It's a kind of a creepy story.
It's going to depend exactly on how the animation style comes through, to be honest. It
Yeah.
really is. And it's weird because, like, honestly, like, from a story standpoint, you got to think, like, what are they going to try to do for, like, not only the classic tale, but how are they going to reimagine it? How are they going to make that relevant to today's audience and everything like that? So it's just like the themes behind that can be interesting for them to explore. Are they going to do it or not? Or are we just going to get a carbon copy of the animated film in CGI and live action form?
Yeah. I had to look it up because I was pretty sure that was not correct, Brett. But Frighteners is not directed by Robert Zemeckis. That is actually Peter Jackson. I thought so. I had to look it up though. I didn't want to make a fool of myself. But yeah, it is Peter Jackson that directed The Frighteners, which is actually a pretty cool movie. I like that one. Peter Jackson, his roots were in horror, 100% in horror. And you could get a sense of that in The Lord of the Rings even. That there were certain moments where his horror roots came out. Kind of like Sam Raimi in Spider-Man 2 with the Doc Ock scene. You could totally see like Evil Dead like poking through there in the Doc Ock origin sequence, which is pretty cool. Antimatter, how you doing? Welcome to the show. We just got done with our Has No Game portion talking about non-gaming stories, but we're continue on here into gaming now, and one of our newer segments we're about to get into. Vince, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's do it. This week in How You Reviewing, where we review a video game submitted by you guys on our Discord, we're going to be taking a look at Mod Nation Racers, as submitted by Ashra Call. I've talked about this game many, many times on the show because I have a fondness for this game. Got 3 categories we're going to go through here, and we're going to start off with presentation. Vince, you told me that you have played Mod Nation Racers, right?
I have it. Very long time ago, but I have, and I remember a good amount of it for the most part.
Tell me what you remember about this game from a presentational aspect.
I just remember that it was just fun to look at. It kind of had charm. It was just goofy, and it just didn't kind of care what it was. It was a kart racer that wanted to be a kart racer and do whatever it wanted to do, and that it was just kind of endearing in a way.
One of the big draws was that it allowed you to create your own tracks, your own characters. Mod Nation Racers, all about modifications, you know? And they came through in the simplistic character design. They were when it came down to it, as you saw at the very beginning with the white figurine, that's all it was. It was just like this very simple shaped head, simple body, and then you could do really interesting things with that, actually. It had a little bit of like a Little Big Planet vibe to it, like a play, create, share vibe to it.
Right.
Which is why, as we'll talk about later, this same team went on to do another racer, but under the Little Big Planet, franchise?
Umbrella.
Yeah, but that one didn't do anything for me.
No.
Mod Nation Racers, I was so drawn to this game from the moment I picked it up. There was something about the visuals, the artistic direction, how easy it was to, create a character. I remember I made Steve from Cloudy the Chance of Meatballs, the monkey.
That's awesome.
I made Steve into it, and it turned out amazing. And I did it was like in an hour. It wasn't like Dreams, where it takes you 36 hours to create a character. It was like 1 hour, and I created a really cool little guy. And what's great too is like people were creating so many cool things. Like it took a click of the button, you were searching like, oh, I want to see somebody create a Spider-Man. I was like, oh, there's a great Spider-Man, there's a great Iron Man, there's a great every superhero you could imagine. It was all presented and put together in I thought a really effective way. I still, to this day, like even looking at this trailer, I think it holds up really well because of its simplicity in artistic direction. I think it holds up to this day very well as a PS3 title.
I agree with you.
Off to a strong start there. How did you feel about it from a mechanical standpoint in its gameplay? Like how many kart racers have you played? And how did like Mod Nation hold up to those?
I'm not as crazy as the kart racer as some of the other people in the community here, but I've played, like Mario Kart, Crash Team Racing, all that stuff. And like, I even done the Jack one as well. And to me, it was fun. I mean, they're one of those games where I don't really look very critically at gameplay, and it was fun to race. The only thing I remember a little bit was the AI could somewhat kind of do the typical kart racing bullshit where like, we're just going to win because we're just jerks. It kind of felt like that sometimes.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. Although most of the time I played online. That was one of the few times where I really got into online mode. And this is one of the only games that ever got me like slamming my fist, throwing controllers, not literally, but like very close to throwing controllers, because I was actually really, really good at this game. Like really good. Like top % good.
Oh wow.
So when I did lose by a nose, it was like incredibly frustrating for me because I was invested in winning in this game. I was incredibly good at drifting to the point where I could drift through entire levels, literally entire levels. And it was so satisfying to me. No game since or before, in my opinion, has felt so satisfying when it comes to drifting.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. The drifting on this game felt so good.
Yeah. Drifting through, collecting all of the little power-ups, getting the shield, using it at the exact right moment, launching off rockets at the exact right moment. It just it flowed for me really, really well. I haven't played this game in a really long time, so I'm speaking partially from nostalgia and memory. But this game for me, it's my favorite racer, probably, arcade racer. If I had to say, like that's
Okay.
how much I liked this game when it came out.
I mean, that's really high praise. I think for me, what I really enjoyed mechanic wise from it was the creation. That's where it
Hmm.
really sucked me in. I mean, that's where friends and I would come over. We put this in. We'd be creating worlds. We'd be creating different tracks. We'd be doing stupid crap, and it was just
And
so
very
much
easily,
fun.
right? Because
It
you
was
could
so
auto-populate
easy.
it. You
Right?
could
It
be like,
was
all right, I'm done with this level. I'll just have it finish itself. It would literally finish the level for you. It would close the track off, populate it with trees. It would sort of make it somewhat attractive. It was a really well thought out building mechanic. It
right.
was so simple to go through it and create something that looked special, but also like it was easy to make, and it wasn't, you didn't have to go real down and dirty into like menus to make it all. But let's get into its impact. I have not played too many kart racers since. I've played Mario Kart 8. I played Little Big Planet Karting, I think it was what it was called.
Yeah.
And it was such a disappointment for me that they went from Mod Nation Racers to that. I thought it was just a huge downgrade for them. I have not played Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled, or anything like that recently. But I will say, like, I don't think, to my memory, any kart racer has done the play create
Nope.
share
No one's
since.
done it since. The only thing that you could kind of sit there would be Trackmania Turbo. The
Okay.
Ubisoft title would be the only thing there, and even then, I think it's a little bit more limited to what we were seeing in Mod Nation Racers. Um, but yeah, like the play, create, share has not been a thing at all since then. In a way, Little Big Planet Karting was the last one to kind of really prove that. But the thing about Little Big Planet's karting creation was it was too complicated for trying to get simple results. They were
Mhm.
trying to do a lot more, as in like allowing the stages to have more dynamicism and everything like that. But it was just too much for the PS3 to even just truly handle, and they also rushed that out. They made Mod Nation Racers, and then they had literally a 1.5 year crunch time, and it was here's Little Big Planet Karting.
Yeah, they got that out really fast. Now, looking at the poll, I think one of the big disappointments is this game, not a lot of people played it, honestly.
Nope.
That's why they went on to try and build a franchise into it, because they thought they'd maybe be able to work off of that and grow something. It didn't really work out for them either with Little Big Planet. So it didn't really have a lot of impact in that way, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate. It really is for me, because I really like this game, and we're about to give it our rating. You ready, Vince?
I'm ready.
2, 1,
9.
9. Wait, did you say 9?
I said 9.
Wow, holy shit.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, you could still see it to this day. People are craving another one. So there must have been, I mean, to me, even me, I was like, I'd play another Mod Nation Racers too. I would. Like, so yeah, the first game was great,
Yeah. I honestly didn't think anybody was going to like it as much as I do.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy you give it a 9 as well. It's a special game to me. Maybe it's because I was so good at it. I don't know exactly. But that game was very special to me.
And yeah, again, it's just weird for me, like, as well. You had like the online portion for me. I mean, literally, I kid you not, friends coming over, pizza or two ordered, and just, yeah, it was great creating levels.
Interesting. Well, moving on to that, let's get into our review roundup. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition did come out on Switch, the Switcher.
The Switcher.
It has an 85 on both Metacritic and OpenCritic, so obviously not performing as well as it did at its launch on Xbox and PS4, getting like a 93 or whatever it has on Metacritic. But let's get through 3 reviews here. Top, middle, and bottom. At the top, we've got Game Planet with a 9.5 saying, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is something of a technical marvel on the Switch. Through what seems like techno black magic, CD Projekt Red and Saber Interactive have ported one of the generation's best games with smart compromises made to deliver the full experience. In the middle, Vince, what we got?
This is from Gaming Trend. They gave it an 8.5. One of this generation's titans finally makes its landmark debut on the Nintendo Switch. For newcomers who can fight through the rocky 30 frames per second and the low resolutions, the Witcher 3 on Switch is a no-brainer. But for those with no plans to take their monster killing outside, the game is better enjoyed on other consoles.
No shit.
Yes.
Right? And finally, at the bottom here, we got digitally downloaded. They gave it a 7. They said, it is truly impressive technical feat that a developer was able to get The Witcher 3 onto the Nintendo Switch in a working state at all. That doesn't necessarily mean that the port should have happened, though. I know Cory Barlog is posting on Twitter right now saying like how he thinks this is really just so impressive from a development standpoint that this was able to be done.
It is impressive from that standpoint. Like, I mean, it truly is. It's just, but when I'm sitting there going, but yeah, you're also seeing like points in Novigrad where you're dropping down to 820 by 420. It's like,
yeah,
is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's when you looking at it as somebody that played it on PS4 Pro, it's like, oh my god, holy shit, this looks awful. But yeah, when you really try and like think about it, it's like, how did they get this on the Switch?
I mean, yeah, that's where the improvement part is. There, it's crazy. I mean, I've had the privilege to play it maxed out on PC at 1440p, and even going down to the PlayStation is like, oh god, it definitely even has that switch over. And then just I can't even I will never touch this on Switch. I will never touch it because I was like, I can't do it. This is one of the few times I'll be a snob about a game. I can't do it there.
I mean, it's The Witcher. It's like one of the technical marvels of the generation. Yeah. So I get it to a certain extent, for sure. Let's do one wheel spin here because we did have a resub on Prime from Silas, my buddy Doug. Let's give him a wheel spin. Once again, guys, anything worth $5 or more will get you a spin of the prize wheel. We're going to give 10 XP to the entire room. Way to go, room.
Way to go.
Way to go, room. Oh, Vince, Watchmen starts up tonight.
I know. I'm debating about getting HBO now to do that, to watch that.
I am probably going to use my parents' HBO to make sure I can watch it. But I'm excited to get through it.
Yeah, me too.
You guys voted saying I don't have a Switch in the chat, so don't really have a choice, do you?
Yeah, that is our community.
That's for sure. Well, guys, we're going to go to a short commercial break. In a minute and a half, we'll come back with the crux of the show here. We're going to get into the level update. We're going to do our next-gen news update. But we're also going to talk about a few other things as well, such as some BlizzCon rumors.
Oh, boy.
So hold on tight. Brett will be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 281. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're enjoying the show at any point, please hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever we go live. And of course, if you want to go above and beyond, you can subscribe. You could do tipping and cheering, whatever you want to support the show. I am a full-time streamer right now, so all of that really does mean a lot. And that's why you have the prize wheel to give back to you guys for anything worth $5 or more. And just another reminder, we've got the 30-minute after show possible tonight and the 60-minute after show. $30 in tips tonight gets the 30-minute, and $60 gives you the 60-minute after show with Media Share active, allowing you guys to share videos and music. And on top of that, we're entirely focused on the chat during after show, so we can really get an AMA session going. But right now, we are going to get into the crux of the show here. Let's get into our weekly discussion of the biggest gaming industry news. It is called the Level Update. That TV in here. First up, in the Level Update, we've got our next gen news update, and in that we're going to start off with some images of what appears to be in real life. We got the PS5 dev kit. That's what it looks like. We're not looking at renders. We're not looking at like the drawings, the patent drawings. That is the actual image there of the dev kit in person. It's big. It's real big. It's meaty. But that's no surprise. That's normally the case on these things, right? So what do you think? How do you like the look of this? Some people actually think that it's somewhat attractive in a way.
I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna mind it. In a way, it is crazy on like the renders don't do it justice with the whole neon lighting and RGB crap, but like it is crazy the amount of venting that thing has.
Yeah.
Like it is kind of ridiculous. But the whole stacking, apparently the reason why it's designed this way, this is the like kind of, I guess, was leaked out from it. The reason why it's designed this way is so developers can stack these safely and have up to clusters, about 5 of them stacked to where they can do local networking testing, stuff like that. And they don't have to try to sit there and scram all these boxes together where they have dev kits overheat and blow up, which is actually a thing that happened a lot with Xboxes, I guess, was a thing.
Right.
So that's also why it's also weird. If that's the case, then why don't you just put it in a PC case, at the same time? Like it's weird. But yeah,
Yeah, the look has kind of grown on me though, I have to say.
And
Like I wouldn't be opposed to them doing the sort of V design on the main console that releases. It can't
Me
be that
neither.
bulky and big and cumbersome looking, but I could see the V being incorporated with that stacking venting system. I think that's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But moving on from that, we got Control up on screen right now, and the reason for that is a little
Ray
ray tracing comparison going on here. There was a story that came out this week from somebody who has some insider connections. This person said PS5 ray tracing is not as advanced as Scarlet. Here's the quote from the article. As for the GPU side of things, I was told that the implementation for the PS5 isn't fully second generation Navi. He described it as Navi 1.9. Think of that as you will. I was also told that Microsoft's implementation of ray tracing for the Xbox Scarlet is more advanced than Sony's PlayStation 5. Do you have any more information on this, Vince, to share?
This has been flip-flopping back and forth in the next gen thread that I've been following. The thing that's really telling there is the Navi 1.9 is that it looks like, with that being second gen, it looks like that's where the Sony's relationship with AMD is being the custom Navi experience there. The thing that I keep hearing a lot about is that the ray tracing implementation is going to be different on both consoles in the sense of what the hardware is actually going to do better. So from what people have been trying to derive from that, is it looks like the Microsoft solution is going to be able to handle much sharper lighting and sharper reflection effects.
Okay.
Whereas it looks like the PlayStation is going to do, as a trade-off, is going to do sharper shadows and sharper just overall. It can throw more rays at there. It's not going to have the
more rays.
It's just not going to have the comprehensive lighting impact. I don't know. Like I said,
how many rays are we talking about?
Like everything, all of it. It's crazy. It's one of those things again that just keeps flip.
We're not just counting flops anymore.
Yeah, it keeps flip flopping back and forth on the next gen threads. So we're not going to know. We're not going to know until we can really truly see what the actual hardware kits are going to be on that, and then we'll know.
We've got Star Citizen up on screen right now. Reason for that is that Digital Foundry put out a little piece this week, a video as well, talking about how they feel Star Citizen, as it is seen at 4K, is the expectation for what will be best of next generation. Meaning, like, we will not see anything better than Star Citizen at max settings on 4K on the next generation consoles. Do you believe this, Vince?
I watched that video last night when I got home from work after working, a very, very, very long day. And when I was watching it, I was just like, I see nothing here that is indicating that to me that this is the end all be all. And right now, even this video that you're playing right now is actually Squadron 64.
It is. It's like a single player story mode.
There's single player story mode. So like, to me, I was like, I could see that being the end all end all. But like I said, but when they're talking about Star Citizen as it is right now, no. There's stuff that Cyberpunk is already doing better from a lighting standpoint. The thing that they talked about a lot in that video was it being a multiplayer game with insane amount of simulation going on. That's the whole point. Was that, like, if you jump out, like say you're in space, if you jump out of your ship, right? Your frame of reference of your ship is one frame of reference. You're another frame of reference. And if someone, like, say, like your ship, I was going to jump from my ship to your ship, and you told your ship that you're going to spin. If I would come into your air dock while it's spinning, my physics would then have to completely reflect on the fact that my orientation has completely changed. And then so I will stumble and I'll fall and I'll ragdoll. And the other thing too there, they're talking about was like the animations that I see in first person are the exact same animations that you see if you're looking at me in third person. It's one of those things of like, yeah, but it's also a Kickstarter game. It's not been something
right. It has to be brought up, right? Like it's not really a fair comparison, right? That this game that's been in development for 7 years and has a $250 million budget be compared to most other games. Like there's not many that are going to be like that have that long to work on this thing through all this different crowdfunding. So is it really fair to even say that?
7 years, and like to me, even though I wanted to go play the game today, I looked at it. If I want to go play the game today, I would have to drop $41 on that today. If I wanted to, play Squadron 64 when it came out, and I wanted to play Star Citizen, that'd be $61. So like I was like, and then they're doing the microtransactions. Like, here's a ship for 3 months of insurance. This is $75. So I was like, yeah, if you're throwing money like that at a development company, yeah, no wonder why their budget's going to be that good, because they're constantly getting money from people. You guys in the chat say, I sure hope so.
as far as looking better than Star Citizen 4K in the next generation. We've got Marvel's Avengers on screen right now, and that is because it is the first game, I believe, and the first developer to say on record that they're going to be taking advantage of PS5 or next gen in general features. Segment Next writes, a recent interview with YouTuber Hip Hop Gaming has given us a bit more insight into how Crystal Dynamics Avengers game will be working, not just with characters and story, but also in terms of graphics. PS5 enhancements for Marvel's Avengers will be taken into account during development, alongside everything else. The PS5 enhancements for Marvel's Avengers will also be playing into the game itself. Crystal Dynamics will be taking advantage of the console's new features to enhance gameplay, though right now we don't have any confirmation about whether or not the same can be said for the Xbox Scarlet and its own new features. But this is good. This is good to know that somebody is looking at what PS5 and Xbox Scarlet are doing and making sure that even with the game releasing in this generation, that they are looking forward to the future and making sure that in some way, shape, or form, these games will have enhancements. And I think it's even better, like visual enhancements I think are expected, but to know that it'll actually take advantage of features like gameplay that will change as a result of new things that the PS5 and Scarlet can do, that's even better in my opinion than visual upgrades.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And I mean, that's the cool thing is when we're rolling into this next generation with honestly really powerful, even if we get the worst case scenario of a 1.8 gigahertz CPU and a 7 to 9 teraflop GPU, we are still getting a massive, and I mean a massive increase into what we're playing currently on right now. So it's going to change a lot.
For sure. And then finally, going back to Digital Foundry, they have confirmed, at least according to their insider sources, something that was also leaked earlier, I think it was last month, the PS5 codename, and that is Prospero. Now, as a result of this confirmation, if you want to call it that, Digital Foundry could be seen to be backing up this previous leak. Now, what was also included in that previous leak is what makes this interesting. According to that leak, the PS5 and Xbox Project Scarlet both apparently include an inbuilt camera that can be used for live streaming online, with the report claiming that the latter's camera boasts a 4K resolution and is able to react to in-game lighting, and it adjusts its settings accordingly. What do you think, Vince? Do you think Digital Foundry is essentially saying that we have the same sources and we are confirming that Prospero is the codename and that the other leaks could be could hold water?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, and that's what makes it even more interesting here is that if we're getting Digital Foundry to back that one up, then I think that pretty much means that we do have a slight confirmation as of now. I can't stress enough, as of now, it's still a year from these consoles, as of now, that the PS5 is the more quote-unquote powerful console, which is like an 8% difference. But the camera aspect of it is really the red herring there, is that kind of really truly confirms what I think it was Gizmodo.
Right,
Gizmodo
it was.
that had that leak. So I think that confirms that there. So that makes that, again, interesting, especially with this 4K camera that has for this Xbox platform.
I just don't get it.
It's totally got to be a mixer related thing. It's totally.
I agree with you. I just think it's, in my opinion, I think it's the wrong thing to do. I just feel like focusing on a resolution that high with a webcam for live streaming, I would assume it'd have to be for in real life stuff, because I mean, nobody needs a 4K camera like shrunk down in the bottom right hand corner. You know, my camera, I can keep it as low as 540p. That's fine because of how small the camera actually is on stream. So like, who needs a 4K camera unless you're doing in real life stuff? I just feel like how many people are going to be utilizing this, that you're going to be putting this camera, this probably expensive camera in there? I don't know. This is obviously, we're just speculating right now, but I hope that they're not falling into the same trap here.
If they're going to do that, just make it optional. Just make it optional. They better,
right?
Like if you're going to do a pack-in, I don't want it, because that means your pack-in is going to be more expensive, and I just don't want to deal with it. I don't. Yeah. If I want to make the consumer choice to where, like, you know what, I want the PS camera too with my PS5, and great, there's a bundle for it. Awesome. If there's not, great, I can go pick that up at a later time, and I'm not still, screwed out of technology. It's not like the Kinect situation where it's like, we're going to pack this in, then 2 years later go, oh, well, it's not useful for anything,
That being said, like, I feel like they could probably put a 4K camera in there, like a cheap one, maybe, that's like not super special, but I just kind of get the vibe based on this here that they're going with like some souped up like 4K camera reacts to in-game lighting and adjusts its settings accordingly. Like, you know, like I think PlayStation, if they're going to do it, they're just going to put like a 1080p 30 FPS camera in there. It's going to,
that's actually what the leak pointed to, was that the PS5 camera, which is going to be old tech, which is, they said quote unquote old tech. It was just going to be a 1080p ish camera that was going to be based off the PlayStation Eye design right now. Sorry.
They're probably putting it in there for a few reasons. One of them being so that there's backwards compatibility with PSVR, maybe like built into the console. I could see that being the case, which makes more sense, honestly, than anything Microsoft has right now. They don't have any backwards compatibility issues there where they need a camera built in. So it actually makes more sense for PS5 to have it. But on top of that, yeah, I mean, if they're going to have it in there, they're probably going to utilize it for streaming and such too. They might as well. But I hope that they don't go with anything too crazy. Like, don't drive up the production costs on this thing and give us a $600 console potentially because you need a camera in every console. Not saying that would happen. That would be kind of ridiculous. But just, you know, the point still stands that I really hope that we don't see any drive upwards in cost on these things as a result of the camera being included.
I hope so too. I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah. Moving on from that, continue on with what could kind of be considered next gen news, but I didn't include it in there. We got a little bit of controller information. Take it away, Vince.
Yeah. So Games Radar writes, a new patent discovered by German website Techtastic, however, suggests that the DualShock 5, sorry, the topic here is Sony patents cloud PlayStation controller similar to Stadia. I apologize. I forgot the topic. However, suggests the DualShock 5, or whatever it ends up being called, could signify a huge shift to cloud gaming for the PS4's upcoming successor, revealing a controller that connects directly over the internet and not to the PS5 itself. The patent, filed a few weeks ago by Sony through the World Intellectual Property Organization, describes a controller device for user interactivity with a server of cloud gaming system is provided, accompanied by a sketch showing the user connecting their controller to a console remotely through the online server. The controller device communicates directly to an access device for connection to a network that connects to the controller device to the server without connecting to a client device, reads the patent, wherein the server receives and processes the input to render gameplay video that is transmitted over the network for rendering to a display device that is local to the controller device.
Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about earlier. I very highly doubt that Sony watched the Stadia conference as like, okay, we're doing this as well. They've been working on this. And it just shows, like, what I was saying. Like, these people, these companies are going down the same path. They have the same ideas in mind. You've got Google Stadia, PlayStation has PlayStation Now. They've got their own streaming service that they're trying to build, and especially right now, it seems like they're putting a little bit more of a focus on it finally. So it's still a surprise to me that, especially when it comes to PS5, which will probably be even stronger focus on PlayStation Now, that they've got a similar controller in development that will take advantage of that and allow us to have lower latency when we're playing these games connected to the cloud.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's been a lot of rumors too, a lot of smoke actually about PlayStation Now being redone again for the PS5 launch.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of smoke. There's been a lot of smoke there. The other thing too that's interesting about this is like, with the controller that's going to connect to an access point, what's weird to me, what was the thought I was going to go with this here? It's one of those things of like, it's cool and all, and it's one of those things of like, are they going to make it to where like, well, hey, do you want to play PlayStation Now? Here, great, just go grab a DualShock 5. Mm-hmm. You know, off the shelf, you can buy that, and then guess what? You connect it to your Wi-Fi, and like, that's it. Like, could you imagine if it was?
Are you talking about PS Now being like on a TV or something like that, and just playing your?
Yeah,
like, you know, they're like through an app on the TV, not through the PlayStation 5, but through just an app that's installed on your TV,
right?
Smart TV.
But I'm saying even if the PS5, even if the DualShock 5 has a, like, you know, you just connect to a laptop, you get connected to your Wi-Fi, and boom, there you go. On the app on your TV, you're playing PlayStation Now. I mean, that's going to be pretty different. You know, it's going to be pretty unique. Could you imagine that? Same thing with mobile. If it's Bluetooth, it's what xCloud's kind of doing right now. But could you imagine just connecting your DualShock to your phone and being like, oh, hey, I can play PlayStation Now while I'm here at the hotel? You know,
I mean, it's not something that I would almost ever use, but I see it. There's a future for that. There is. And I think even more so, just like having any TV anywhere, as long as you're logged into your PlayStation account and PS Now is on that TV as a smart app, it's like, okay, as long as you're logged in and you're confirmed to have a subscription to PS Now, as long as you have a controller there, a PS5 controller, or even if you brought it with you, it's like, okay, here we go. Hook it up to the TV, hook it up to the Wi-Fi, whatever, connect to the cloud, as long as you have a good connection there, and boom, playing it on any smart TV anywhere, any laptop anywhere, any phone anywhere. It's essentially what Xbox is doing. Play anywhere, game anywhere.
The one little cool thing here, well, I shouldn't say cool thing. One little bit of the controversy going on right now is that the promise of the Stadia controller being wireless is actually false right now. You have to have it connected to a PC, as of currently, from what I understand. It's like
you have to have the controller connected to a PC.
You have to have it connected over USB-C for right now.
Really?
Yep. As of right now, that's been the thing that popped up.
Wow.
That, like, it's not truly wireless yet.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I don't want to really quietly say that that's actually confirmed. That is rumor mill, but it is interesting thing. Like, I mean, that's actually gotten some steam, I guess.
Well, we're not too far away from learning a lot more. I mean, when is the official launch on that again? It's like the 18th of November?
Something like that.
Something like that, yes. Yeah, we're less than a month away from Stadia's official launch where we're going to learn a lot more about that. But going back to PS5, again, with sort of a next-gen story, but speculation here, definitely. What some might think is speculation. That's kind of what the story's all about. Because official PlayStation Magazine, UK, they put a poll up on Twitter asking about PS5 launch titles. Their question here was, what game will you be playing day one on your PlayStation 5? So the options that they put in there were Horizon Zero Dawn 2, The Last of Us Part 2 Online, Killzone Online, and Ghost of Tsushima PS5. They followed up this a little later on due to questions from concerned people. Yeah. They followed up by saying, obviously, this is speculation on our part. It wasn't obvious. Not confirming anything. Just let us know what you want to play on PS5. So the question becomes, is this them covering themselves with the second comment? Do they actually know something, or do they truly know nothing? I mean, they're official PlayStation Magazine.
Right.
Like, wouldn't you think that they have maybe some knowledge of something?
I mean, there could be something there. I mean, from what I understand, even though they're called the official PlayStation Magazine, they could just still be, there's a division there that's like, there's separate departments. That's what I'm trying to say there.
Right.
It is interesting, though, because all of those are within a certain realm of plausibility that could actually happen. Like, let's think about it. Horizon Zero Dawn 2. It's been what? We talked about this a little bit. It's been what, 3 years, soon to be 4 years since the first game. It fits within a dev cycle. Last of Us Online Part 2, we already know it's coming after the fact of Part 2 single player. So Part 2 launches earlier next year. I mean, give it 8 more months and congratulations, you have online. Killzone Online was the big thing that I think you and I sort of privately discussed too, was like, that could be something right there too. You put that with a smaller team, you make it a free to play or even a very low entry cost title, and it's just, you have that there for day one online play. It could be a thing. Then Ghost of Tsushima at this point has to be a cross-gen title.
Without a doubt, it has to be.
So I mean,
but yeah, I think when reading this, my first thought is, if I were to put together a poll, I might use these same exact options, right? So it doesn't mean that they have any insider knowledge. It's speculation, because I think a lot of us are expecting the same thing. Right. And that's what they're going off of. They're just going off of like the expectations. We've talked about it so many times that Horizon Zero Dawn 2, as far as the timing between the last one and this one goes, it could happen. I think it would be ambitious for sure, but it could happen. Guerrilla Games did Shadowfall for the PS4 launch, so they're no virgin to creating a launch title and crunching to make it happen. So that would be an unbelievable launch title, even if it's launch window. That would be amazing. Last was Part 2 Online, as he said, they said it. I mean, they said it's not dead. Factions is alive. They're figuring out the delivery method. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Speculation ahead. Go for it. I can see it. Killzone's the only one where there's nothing out there right now, at least that I've seen. There's no smoke around that with Killzone Online. Right. But as we talked about, it's like, yeah, I could see that. Like, I don't know. I'm not really interested in Killzone's story anymore, honestly. I thought Killzone 2 was really cool in its world and what it set up and the villain, all that. Vasari, I think his name was. Shit. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, like as 3 went on, and especially Shadowfall, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not that interested now. But I loved Killzone 2's online, and I'm not an online guy. I love the multiplayer. I love that chirp when you kill an enemy in those games.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but I just remember Thunder's Quiet just posted in the chat, and I forgot about this actually, is that Guerrilla does actually have the director, or used to be the ex-director of Rainbow Six Siege, as a project lead for a game. and that was a while ago. So I don't know. There could actually be something a little bit more inside there, to be honest.
They have multiple teams
They
at
do.
Guerrilla. They do. So they are not just working on Horizon Zero Dawn 2, I would bet you. And if they're doing just an online multiplayer mode, that would require, I would think, a smaller team than if they were doing a full-fledged Killzone game with a single-player campaign and a multiplayer campaign.
Yeah.
So they could have a 75%, 80% of their workforce at Guerrilla working on Horizon Zero Dawn 2, but they might be able to get away with Killzone Online with just 20%. Or something like that. It's definitely feasible. And as we said, Ghost of Tsushima, I've been saying it from the very moment I saw it. When people ask me, like, what's going to be the order of release, I said, Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima. And I think, I remember so many people thought I was crazy when I said that. Like, people was like, Ghost of Tsushima, it looks like it's almost done. It's like, I don't know what you guys were watching, but Ghost of Tsushima had a lot of beautiful moments. The scenery looked fantastic, but lot of that looked really, really unpolished to me. The animation especially. Yeah. That did not look anywhere near the quality of what I expect from Sucker Punch after Infamous Second Son, especially.
Again, though, what's weird about Ghost of Tsushima is that we only saw a side mission, too, which makes that even more interesting.
Yeah, I could tell that game was pretty far out. Yeah. Even though they've been working on it for a long time, everybody's like, yeah, but they've had since Infamous Second Son and First Light. It's like, I get what you're saying. I understand. But what I'm seeing on the screen right now tells me that this game is not coming out soon.
And there's a lot of technology that Ghost is doing, too. I mean, they're doing a lot of the 3D volumetric cloud rendering. They're doing an entire wind physics system. They're doing an entire claw physics system. They're even doing an entire, from what I understand, an entirely dual gameplay system loop here. We haven't even seen the second gameplay loop. Apparently, it's rumored. We've seen the samurai gameplay. We have yet to see the Ghost gameplay.
Right.
So, and that's even feeding into their whole day and night cycle type thing. It's how they're moving away from the morality bar instead of the like an Infamous Second Son, everything like that. You're not having a good or bad. It's just are you a ghost or are you a samurai? So there's a lot that they're changing up there, and I could see why it might need more time in the oven.
Infamous Second Son was like launch year, if I remember right. It was very close to
February is when it came out.
Yeah, which was what, like 4 months after?
4 months after it was.
Yeah, so that's like a launch window title. That game holds up visually to this day.
Oh, it does. And
they know how to bring the power out of a system. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were trying to use that. It would be cross-generational, but as really something to show off what PS5 can do as well, if you play it on PS5.
I agree.
Like, do you think it's even possible that they have separate releases where there's a PS4 version and a PS5 version? Because, like, I can see them. You don't think so? Because I don't think this game is going to show off the power of PS5 by just being like, hey, put the PS4 disc into your PS5 and it'll upscale it and it'll make the frame rate faster. Like, I could see them going with a PS5 version, even potentially.
This is the question. I mean, this isn't going to be one of those things that might be able to do, or it could also show how extensive, like, to get people hyped up of like, hey, look, that Ghost of Tsushima is coming out for PS4. They could always release it like a month or two before. Whatever, PS5. But then, hey, guess what? That disc that you have, you put that in your PS5. This is what you're getting.
Look how much better it looks. I mean, we don't know what they could do there yet, but that would be a strong endorsement for PS5 if they could make a game that released on PS4 look next gen when you put it in PS5.
And then you sit there and you get the entire, if you're going for the whole history, the whole future aspect of what all the insiders have said, that's what Sony is going for. They're going to go for history. It's going to be not only the past, not only the present, but also the future. I mean, that sets a precedence right there, especially if you launch that aside with, like, I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm keeping myself really low hyped on that, but could you imagine if they do the exact same thing with Last of Us Part 2, the exact same thing with Death Stranding, the exact same thing with God of War, even Spider-Man? Could you imagine if all of a sudden, oh my God, all my old games are now next-gen games? Like, can you imagine?
Look how much better they look. Yeah.
Could you imagine the power that you could?
If that's the case, that's going to be a huge push of their reveal. They're going to be like, they're going to do comparison videos. Like, look at Spider-Man on PS4 Pro and look at Spider-Man on PS5 and show like how much better these games look. Cause that's going to be a huge selling point for a lot of people. If that's the case, that's going to be a major, major selling point. If they can make it readily apparent just by watching a video side-by-side comparison and be like, holy shit, like that looks like a next generation version. Like if they can do that, they're going to be doing very well.
This will be the moment where they sit there and go, and this is going to be the end of the teaser of all these games, right? And they're going to show Bloodborne, and it's going to be like, we finally listened to you guys. Here's Bloodborne on PS5.
Finally, it's about damn time. Yeah, I have to say I don't think that's going to be the case. Like, I don't think you're going to put these discs into your PS5 and be like, oh my god, it looks next gen. I think it's going to be upscaled. I think it's going to run at a smoother frame rate, and that's about it.
Yep, I agree with you on that.
And that, in my opinion, doesn't make a game look next gen. Like, if suddenly it's like, oh my god, look at the lighting, look at the particle effects, look how much different all these things look, then it's like, okay, oh shit. But I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if they're able to pull that off, then oof, we got next gen's going to be awesome. Because I mean, Microsoft's going to do almost the exact same thing, which means that entire across, that other entire console is going to have a massive update to all its stuff. Sea of Thieves, all that stuff. I mean, it's going to be an awesome time for sure if that's the way we kind of go with it.
To go with X1 Bro said, if that is possible to just like patch in ray tracing, then yeah, you're going to notice that difference, I would say, in the lighting for sure. But I would say a lot of these games don't have it like ready for that. Obviously Control has it ready for that. Has it ready for ray tracing to be in there. Like, does Spider-Man have ray tracing ready to go? Does God of War have ray tracing ready to go? I would say very likely not. I don't think that's going to be like, oh, just plug it in and it activates ray tracing. It's going to be something that the developers have to go back and work on a patch to add in ray tracing. And I just don't think a lot of developers are going to do that.
Right. And that was my big major concern that I had with a lot of that stuff. If you remember back a couple shows ago when I asked that question, I was like, are we really going to see that though? Like, are we going to see this backwards compatibility to be like, listen, this is the game now. It's next gen. And I was like, I doubt we're going to get that. That's why, like, for like Last of Us Part 2, it's like, cool. We're gonna get like an uncapped frame rate. Maybe we might get a sharper presentation, but it's like, at the same time though, isn't it more impressive seeing that on the PS4 than it is on the PS5 with not really taking advantage of that new hardware? It's
just unless it is like a complete revamp almost, where it's like, holy shit, like look at the light, like the ray tracing, look at the particle effects, look at the fire, it looks completely different. Like, it's definitely not worth it to me to wait 9 months to a year to play Last of Us Part 2 on PS5.
Right. I mean, and honestly, it's all going to depend on exactly how forward some of these devs are. Now, some first-party devs, I mean, for all we know, God of War, it was there. It's just disabled in the PS5.
Right, because they're first party and they knew what was coming.
And they've
been working on PS5 for years now. So, yeah, Sony went to them and be like, by the way, ray tracing is going to be a big deal with PS5. So,
yeah. I mean, that
might want to work that in there.
Yeah, and the same thing too with some of the third parties. I mean, they might be pulling some of their PC code over to be like, okay, cool, it's the PS5, they can do this, it can brute force this or whatever. It could happen. I mean, they did do it with Minecraft. They just kind of are coming in and they're just patching ray tracing into Minecraft,
Yeah.
So it's doable. It's just it's going to be scalability on how well it's going to be done. It's going
Plot twist. Knack 2 had ray tracing all along.
Oh my
god.
Knack
2 is the game to beat, man.
Wouldn't that be amazing if it did? I mean, let's not forget, Killzone Shadowfall had a very limited form of ray tracing via cube mapping. Well, with cube mapping enhancements, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know the dice.
I think that should be like the winning tech demo of the PS5 reveal. Is like they show off Knack, and then it's like, look at what Knack could do on PS4. It's like, what if you threw 32 Knacks on screen? It's just like, PS5, 32 Knacks.
Or
all on screen at the same time. Yeah, just like so many freaking objects on screen, like all converging into 32 different Knacks, big and small. Be like, holy
and they become
shit.
Then they become one big Knack.
Knack-inception.
Knack 3. Knackception.
Knackception. Yeah. We joke, but
yeah, we know it's gonna happen.
I never thought Knack 2 would have happened, so you never know, I guess. But you guys did end up voting saying you think it's just speculation on the part of OPM UK and they don't have any insider information. All right, let's get into one of the big things this week. BlizzCon is around the corner. There's a lot of controversy surrounding BlizzCon and Blizzard right now, but we also got some rumors about what might be coming. Vince, take it away.
Alrighty, so the rumor is we're going to be seeing Overwatch 2, Diablo 4, and Diablo Remastered all coming to BlizzCon. Supposed insider with sources, Metro posted to Twitter, big things coming for Overwatch at BlizzCon. It'll be much bigger than any hero map. It's going to change everything. It would be funny if the new Overwatch short that they will show at BlizzCon would have Mei as one of the main characters and she gets hurt and saved by Genji. Oh, wait. That'll actually happen.
Oh my.
Yeah. Overwatch 2 is very much real and will be announced at BlizzCon after a short cinematic. Overwatch 2 will be PvE and PvP. I don't know if competitive will be moved or if it'll just be a fusion type of thing. I think it will be a move, possibly even at the start of next season, based on the fact that the game is called Overwatch 2 and not an expansion of to Overwatch. They might treat Overwatch 2 as an add on, but change the entire branding to Overwatch 2 for everything we have right now. The cinematic will feature a lot of heroes, the main ones being Mei, Tracer, Winston, and with a young Genji appearing. Overwatch logo will appear, then 2 is going to be added at the very end. No new hero for Overwatch from what I've heard. They're all putting they are putting all their resources towards releasing Overwatch 2 as fast as possible. It's going to have a leveling system that's going to affect how you play your hero. The leveling system is going to change certain abilities for heroes in the game. I don't know if this is a feature for PvE only or for also PvP. For example, there will be an upgrade / change to Tracer's Pulse Bomb that makes it so if you stick an opponent, all units close to target will get stuck. That got stuck will also be stuck with a pulse bomb. For anyone who cares as well, Diablo 4 and Diablo 2 remastered will be announced. So,
just a little final note there at the very end. Just by the way, Diablo 4 and Diablo 2 also be announced there.
Really weird to me. I was like, really? Diablo 4? You're just going to kind of drop that as like and by the way, if anyone who cares, Diablo 4. It's like,
so what do you think here, Vince? Do you think that this is a response, or do you think this was always planned, that they were going to have all this shit all at one BlizzCon?
This is always planned. You know, it was funny following the controversy, which we can talk to you a little bit later about it. But someone pointed out a really great point here. BlizzCon is Blizzard's calendar. It is literally where they announce everything. It is where their esports ends, and all the new seasons will start after BlizzCon. I mean, this is a huge deal for them. So yeah, I could see them announcing a lot of stuff there, especially since we've seen a lot of stagnation from everything else but World of Warcraft at this point. We haven't really seen anything from Overwatch other than the occasional monthly update. We haven't seen anything from the new Diablo Immortals game. We haven't seen anything from StarCraft. We haven't seen anything from, you know what I'm saying? Like even Hearthstone has kind of just been kind of like, yeah, and here's another expansion. So yeah, I could see this being a big thing. The interesting thing too is I think Overwatch is a very fun game. I enjoy Overwatch. I've enjoyed playing with friends. I enjoy playing it with Mike whenever we can get a chime for it. I really need to set some time and play it with some of the level up community. But the thing is, for me, is this whole Overwatch 2 will be PvE and PvP. I like it. I like the PvE aspect of it. The PvP has gotten really toxic for the most part anymore. I just don't know how they're going to justify Overwatch 2, if that makes sense. Like I could have seen Overwatch.
I think it's going to be very similar to Fortnite, where it's not actually Fortnite 2, right? Like we're calling it Fortnite 2, but it's not actually Fortnite 2. I think it's going to be kind of similar there, where it's not actually Overwatch 2, but they kind of treat it that way.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like the 2 aspect of it is very confusing. Like I would rather have had like a subtitle. And the other thing too is like I know people are going to moan and groan about no new hero because there's been a lot of complaints about that. Which I actually honestly think they're not updating that game fast enough considering the momentum that they had. And I think it's completely lost now. I mean, I know it's still big, but I just feel like it's just one thing that I've always made fun of with my friends in a way has been like, oh, it's a Blizzard game. So the balance that you think you're going to get is not going to be balanced at all. And you have to have another balance patch to balance the balance patch they just had, which will need another balance patch to come balance. Like their games are always like that. It's just always like, can you guys just stop touching things and breaking them for a hot minute, please? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, you know me, I'm not super invested in anything that Blizzard does currently, and that's not because I think their games are bad. I mean, I when I played Overwatch, I enjoyed it. It's not really my genre of choice, but I enjoyed Overwatch when I would play it. I have never played Diablo. So, yeah, like I can't say anything about that. It sounds great. I'm sure I would like it a lot. But I never got around to it. I think if they announce Diablo 4, that could be the one that gets me into it. Like, I'll be honest with you, like this whole boycott thing, I'm not really involved in that myself. Like, if the game looks good, I'll keep an eye on it, and if it's great, then maybe I'll pick it up. Right. I'm sure by that point, something will probably change from the way it is now anyway. So we'll see what happens with the whole controversy with Hong Kong. I think it's too early with how far Diablo 4 is going to be from right now, and even Overwatch 2 potentially. Like, who knows how things are going to be in a year or 2 years.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if Diablo 4 looks great, like that could be the one to get me into the franchise for the first time. Also,
Yeah.
welcome to Odo Moko in the chat. We are doing a talk show. We got an agenda, so we are in the process of doing that agenda. But we try and get to the chat as much as we can, and we do have an after show if we achieve after show where we focus entirely on chat. But Agent Vincent, he is our special guest tonight, discussing all the big stories of the week with me. You guys voted in the chat as far as boycott goes, and two of you said you never boycotted them. I saw another person say like, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give up on that boycott if they announce these games. You know,
there's definitely not going to be any judgment from me on that. I'm not going to buy a lot of their games now, especially because of just what it is. But that's also just how I feel. Other people are going to feel differently, and that's okay. The thing that I think hurts me the most in a way is how much just 2 years ago Blizzard was being praised for not only the inclusion but the diversity that Overwatch was bringing in, and then to kind of just flip on that because of corporate interest, it does hurt a little bit. But you're right, things are going to change. Things will always change, especially in the geopolitical landscape. They're always going to change, and we'll have to see what happens. And people are going to have to support what they want to support, and that's it. But going back to the actual game here, the one thing I am nervous about with Overwatch 2 here is the leveling system. That could be actually really, really, really cool, as long as it's PvE only. If it's PvP only, you're adding a whole other layer of things are going to get broken real quick, and it's just going to piss people off. So I'm really hoping that's only PvE only.
Yeah, like when we get into that type of discussion, I'll be honest with you, it's like I don't even know where to begin. Like it's so outside my wheelhouse that I don't know how a leveling system would hurt or be a positive. I don't know. I just, it's not my it's not my genre. So
yeah, it's like, just to kind of give an idea here, it's like, so they use Tracer as like an example of that. Like an ultimate would be like Diva. Diva comes in, it says nerf this. Her mech does like the timer thing. It does a big explosion. Everyone's nearby. If they're in the radius, they're dead, right? So like in technicality, you could level up her and say, okay, well now instead of it being a massive explosion, the mech might break up into parts, and each part might zoom in on a player and follow them through. That could be something like that.
Okay.
The problem there is, again, with it being an online game, leveling up like that, stuff like that is very, very sensitive to imbalance. We see that happen with Rainbow Six Siege a lot, to enough to where Ubisoft really doesn't try to change things as much anymore now. They're trying to go, okay, core gameplay needs to stay the way it is. If someone's ability is broken, it's immediately disabled. They take them out of rotation, and they fix them and then they put them back in. Blizzard doesn't do that. They don't take people out. They leave them in there and they're just still broken, or if they're nerfed, they're just nerfed. So like, the audience, the consumer has to constantly keep moving back and forth between what's meta and what's this and that and everything like that. And it's just, that's not a fun game whenever you're playing that. Like, it's just, so I hope if they're moving forward, I'm hoping they're going to do updates faster, or at least live server updates to where if someone's abilities need to be changed, we're getting it fixed.
Sorry, it's a funny comment. Brett says, this makes a lot more sense to me than Mike talking about Overwatch.
Oh, God.
And I did go to TwitchCon in 2018, Otomoko, and a great time. And I wish I could have gone this year, but I just did not have the funds to do it this year and get to TwitchCon again. I'm from New Jersey, so traveling all the way to the other coast is pretty expensive. I probably spent like $1,500 doing TwitchCon in 2018, and it did it resulted in some great connections being made, but I can't say for sure it was worth the $1,500. I would say if I could have gone for like $500, maybe it would have been worth it. But yeah, $1,500, I don't think it was worth that.
Yeah,
honestly. You spent a lot of money on your production. I spent no money on my production. I did all this myself. I just over time you just make these things. This is all rendered in 3D. I like doing 3D modeling and all that kind of stuff. So this is not a real studio. This is all fake.
Yet.
That is not a real cloud up there.
Yet.
That is a Super Mario cloud. Moving on, though. Let's get to another source of controversy right now. Activision has given updates on Call of Duty Modern Warfare microtransactions. So a lot of people are already boycotting Activision because Activision owns Blizzard right now.
Right.
But there is also a lot of controversy simply surrounding the microtransactions as well. So let's get into a little bit of a clarification on that. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is almost here. From the moment this project began 3 years ago, the energy has been extraordinary. We've set our sights on not only creating the best game possible this year, but also on breaking down walls and bringing the community together. Starting with Modern Warfare, we will be introducing crossplay to unite the community across platforms for the first time. Also removing season pass and an a la carte DLC multiplayer map packs to ensure everyone can play together. C, delivering free post-launch multiplayer maps and modes for all players. And D, releasing post-launch multiplayer maps and modes simultaneously on all platforms. We are excited about what these changes will bring to Call of Duty players. That said, we also recognize there is one more topic that many fans are interested in to learn about more today. Let's address the basics for the in-game economy coming to Modern Warfare. A, we are introducing a new battle pass system, not a loot box system. B, all functional content that has an impact on game balance, such as base weapons and attachments, can be unlocked simply by playing the game. C, the new Battle Pass system will allow players to see the content that they are earning or buying. Battle Passes will launch timed to new post-launch live seasons, so you can unlock cool new Modern Warfare themed content that matches each season. D, with the new Battle Pass system, players will be able to earn COD points by playing the game. So E, there will be both a free stream and a premium stream of content in the Battle Pass system in Modern Warfare. New base weapons will be earned through gameplay simply by playing Modern Warfare. Functional attachments for base weapons can be unlocked through gameplay, as well as just like in the game's beta. And finally, the Battle Pass and the in-game store will feature a variety of cosmetic content that does not impact game balance. So as an outsider and somebody unfamiliar with the way a lot of Battle Passes work, this seems similar to a lot of other ones that work just fine. I'm not seeing anything here that seems like egregious or really like a red flag to me, but Vince, you are more on these kind of things than I am. Is there anything here that concerns you?
There isn't. There isn't anything that's concerned about it. But the problem is the community doesn't have any trust in Activision for another reason. And we have no pay to win mechanics, or we have no loot boxes, or we have nothing like that. 3 months later,
and then they add it.
Here's your loot boxes.
Yeah, right.
So that's been the big trusting point there. From what I can gather with the controversy that hit Black Ops 4, and I kind of did some research on my own. I would like to get some more other level up communities perspective on that, especially from people like Jersey Tom, people who have actually stated stuff in the past before. The Black Ops 4 microtransactions or loot boxes seem to be the breaking point for a lot of people, because apparently the guns that you could get from said loot boxes were considered overpowered or broken in the sense of how it actually affected the gameplay balance. And what made that even worse was that they were timed only. So if you wanted, say, like, I'm just making a random stupid name right now, the Scar Ripper X977 that had the fastest submachine gun speed and the fastest reload speed that would stack on top of the reloading perk to where you had like a sub-millisecond reload speed. Well, it's only here for you for a week. So you need to buy your loot boxes. That's apparently where a lot of the people the breaking point happened. Now, looking at Modern Warfare system there's really honestly nothing there that makes me outraged and angry and oh my God, I hate this all.
Right.
And the thing too, that again, you actually are able to earn Call of Duty points this time around. So we'll have to see exactly what we can earn and what it is and how the stuff is set up for the battle passes and whatnot. But I feel like this is a lot of people who, the moment the first loot box rumor came out, people freaked out. Which it was like, guys, the game's not even out yet. Let's just hold our horses.
Right. I'm with you there. People really jumped down their throat on that one a little fast.
Yeah. And it was just one of those things of like, hold up, we don't even know what they're going to do. And honestly, the Battle Pass system makes the most sense. It's easy. You have a free one. Destiny 2 is doing it. Everyone else is doing it. Epic does it, and it's just one of those things like, I don't have an issue with it. And I know some people have, they have, again, a stand against that, and that's totally fine. The thing that I have an issue with is the people who literally say, well, this game is complete garbage now because it has microtransactions, which I've seen too many other games from developers who have put a lot of time and effort, and because the publisher has to be a greedy son of a bitch, that game has to completely fail them. Deus Ex Mankind Divided was one of those games that fell because people freaked out there was microtransactions in it because Square Enix pushed it. But then, yeah, everyone now is like, why do we not have a sequel to that game? I don't know, because no one bought it because everyone freaked out about it.
People just like they hear microtransactions and they just they check out immediately when there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. We know this. There are plenty of games that do it just fine.
Right.
And I think cosmetic, especially when you see that, it as long as it's not affecting the gameplay mechanics and the leveling up system and the competitive nature, then who cares? And a lot of games do that. So I don't understand why just hearing that word and seeing that word microtransactions is an immediate red flag. I feel like at this point we should all understand, like, okay, let's wait to hear more. Let's find out what these microtransactions are. How are they built into the game? What's the progression? What's the leveling system? What are you spending your points or your money on? I don't understand how after literally a decade of this now, where it's everywhere and it's not going anywhere either, we're going to deal with microtransactions for the rest of our lives.
Well, you mean,
like, why are we still at this point where we don't take a little bit more of a wait and see approach?
Well, remember, it was the same thing that happens. It happens now whenever there used to be season passes. Remember, I mean, Spider-Man dealt with this bull crap. With, oh my God, they have a season pass. Well, what content did they cut out of the game? And in some,
it's the worst. I hate that.
Literally
I hate it so
had
much.
to be like, listen, nothing has been cut. It has literally been stuff that has been set aside, that has been development ideas from the team that could not make it into the game. So in fact, you're actually getting the cut content that wasn't actually cut there. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's the most frustrating thing, is that everyone thinks that developing companies and publishing companies are out to get them. And there's a few that are.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
EA has not done a great job with consumer trust with that. Activision has not done great with consumer trust. Everyone shits on Ubisoft for it, but I'm sorry, like, it happens. And the thing is that Ubisoft is that they do research on everything. They literally are the most researched development team and publishing team that is out there right now. They know exactly what the market's like. And even their microtransactions aren't even, what's the word there? Intrusive, to be honest. It's just one of those things that, like,
there's another thing to keep in mind too. Okay, you don't want microtransactions, you don't want season passes, you want Spider-Man to be delayed or to incorporate all these content, then be prepared for your games to cost more. Because the only reason these games have not risen in price above $60 after all these years of inflation, increasing production costs, the only reason is because they're finding other ways to bring money in, such as microtransactions, such as battle passes, such as free-to-play with shit tons of microtransactions. That's how they're making this work. If they stuck with the traditional path that you admire so much, then don't bitch and moan and complain when prices go up to $70 and even $80. That's another. Speaking of $70, $80, that's another way that they're recouping costs and is by doing the collector's edition and the limited collector's edition and the super duper collector's edition. Like, that's the kind of shit they're doing to make sure that there's still a $60 version
and early
of the
access.
Game. And early access.
That's like what Ubisoft does right there. Yeah. The early access stuff is, you want to play Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Cool. Buy the $120 edition, you can play it 3 days early. They did the same thing with Odyssey. Like, I get it. I totally understand it. And I get people, like I said, this is not a judgment aspect of this. I understand people have literally no reason to trust EA. I know people have no reason to trust Activision. I know people don't have a reason to trust a lot of publishers. Yeah. But you have to understand there's more to play there than it is just your $60. It's the same way with the whole, I'm going to give my perspective on this, and this is a little bit of a hot take, and I know people are not probably going to like this, but the whole Spec Ops mode that everyone's bitching about with being PS4 exclusive on Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going, oh, well, Sony and Activision suck because, they just made it to where this feature is not going to come in for Xbox and PC players. The problem is you have no idea if that was the budget for said Spec Ops, and Sony said, hey, you know what? We'll do your marketing, and we'll also
there's
pay
things
you
we don't know. Yeah.
There's also here's the other additional $25 million we're going to give you for the development of that mode. We just want it to be a year only. I get that. I totally understand from a business standpoint. Yeah, that's what they do. So for everyone to act up in arms in this whole thing of like, you want to boycott the game and everything, that's fine. You boycott the game. Here's the thing. People still buy it on PS4. If you want to have an impact on that, buy it on the other platform.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Show the support on the other platform so that when Activision and Sony have that meeting and Sony wants to go, hey, we want to buy this game mode from you, Activision's going to go, I'm not so sure about that. That's the thing.
But yeah, it is a thing, and I get the frustration. It's the same frustration that a PlayStation 4 person might have felt when Rise of the Tomb Raider was announced exclusive to Xbox One. But here's the thing. Let's go to example Street Fighter V, exclusive to PS4. The reason that game was even made was because of PlayStation. The game would not have been made otherwise. So like that, to go right into what you're saying, like we don't know why Spec Ops is a thing. We don't know if it is only a thing because of PlayStation. There's a lot of other factors that are happening behind the scenes that we're never going to know about. And and to cast judgment so readily, it's not really fair. I'm totally fine, as you said, with like, okay, you don't want to support that. Do what Vince said, buy it on the opposing platform. If that's what boycotting, I don't really see in this situation as a valid direction to go. That is going to affect anyone in a meaningful way.
It's the same way with people boycotting microtransactions. Guess what, guys? They're not after you. You're a data point they don't even give a crap about. They really don't. They're going after the people who do spend money on that. So here's the thing. Say Modern Warfare launches, and let's say Activision's able to look at their earnings and have and this is just random numbers out of my ass, but like let's say there's 5 million players playing Call of Duty, right? Modern Warfare. Now let's say around 100,000 people buy microtransactions. Okay, so whatever percentage that is, which I don't know the math on that right now. Think about that. That's Activision making additional money off those 100,000 people who are buying microtransactions. We're talking about the entire range of them, from the $5 to the $100. They're buying the microtransactions. Now, keep that 100,000 people buying microtransactions. Now make that population of people who bought Modern Warfare 10 million. How much does that percentage go down? It's not as much money anymore now, from the potential people that could be playing the game. So that's what I'm saying. Like whenever you start boycotting a game, all it does is, they don't get that upfront profit. But guess what though? There's less people there. That means their microtransaction engagement percentage goes up. And then they're like, oh, microtransactions are a thing people like. And so the loop keeps,
they're going to recoup those losses somewhere.
Right. And the loop keeps constantly filling it. And the other thing too is, let's be real. The one game that's totally made this a completely viable thing, 2 games, in fact, now, GTA 5 and Fortnite. GTA 5's entire content pipeline is completely fueled by the people who literally spend $500 to $700 a month on that game in microtransactions. For what reason? I have no idea.
I'll never get it, but yeah, the thing. It's crazy.
But I
remember somebody spent $13,000 on Mass Effect 3 DLC. It's or microtransactions. How the hell did you spend $13,000 on Mass Effect 3 microtransactions? What? Why? What are you doing? It's not even the type of game I would even expect that from. But people find a way, man. That's what they're hoping for. They're hoping for the white whales.
Again, so I just want to remind everyone with this whole Spec Ops thing, the outrage there. I get the reason why you're outraged. I get it, and I'm not going to judge you for being outraged on it. But you need to understand there's more in the background than what we know is going on. We have no idea Spec Ops wasn't even going to be a thing until Sony came and put up the 25 million for it, or whatever the number was that they did for marketing. We have no idea exactly what that marketing number means for them. We have no idea. So for the outrage to happen there, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, if we get some insiders saying, well, yeah, Spec Ops is supposed to come out for all platforms and then Sony came and bought the rights for it, then yeah, it's a whole different thing. I get that.
Even then, though, I get the frustration, but then I also get this is a part of how this all works.
Right.
I get the frustration. I totally do. I totally get it. I'd be frustrated too if I wasn't able to play it and I wanted to. But in the same breath, it's just I guess because of how I am with the industry and how I like discussing it and I like being involved in it and looking into how all this works in the back end. For that reason, I'm yeah, this is the way this shit works. Right. This is how they get people to buy their game on that platform. Is it consumer friendly? Is it anti-consumer? Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, to half the audience is anti-consumer. But
what about exclusives then?
They do it for a reason, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Right.
they do this shit for a reason because it works.
Right. But if everyone's going to do the anti-consumer argument there, I would say then what about exclusives? Aren't those truly anti-consumer then? It's that
if it's not first party, I think you could maybe make that argument.
But I'm even saying first party isn't even exclusive, just that it's anti-consumer. It shouldn't be everyone should be entitled to play that game. And that's the problem, is that you run into that type of logic there where I need it, so therefore it has to be for me. And if it's not for me, then it sucks, you
Mhm.
know? And the other thing too is Hooded Reaper, I know you have a lot of stakes in here, and that's why I get it, man. I know you have the passion behind it, but we have no idea who offered money. We
Mhm.
truly don't. We have no idea
Who was the originator? Yeah.
who was the originator on that. We have no idea. Maybe Microsoft has been within a penny of each thing there. We have no idea. We just can only assume that until you can actually give me an actual link that shows the actual dollar for dollar amount that Microsoft bought that. That Sony bought that stuff or bought the marketing rights for. Then we can have a discussion about that. But I get it, man. I know you're passionate about it, and I totally get your point of view there.
Yeah.
So I'm not calling you out on that. It's not just that. It doesn't boil down to that point. It doesn't boil down to just Sony offered more money. There's a lot more that goes on with that, from engagement to who the consumers being played on, the numbers. There's a whole lot more in there than it just being, here's 25,000 in cash, here you go. You know,
Just in general, like money hatting, as it's so often called, is just looked down upon within the games media and games journalism and games communities, especially culture around it. People hate that shit. The people hate it with Xbox right now. A lot of people hate it, like especially PlayStation guys hate it with Xbox picking up all these different third parties, buying them out. It's like, oh, they're just buying all these studios. Like people are complaining about that. They should be building from inside, building first parties, and instead they're just buying and money hatting. And when Xbox 360 was in the lead, it was money hatting Call of Duty map packs, and then PS4 was in the lead, and Xbox guys were complaining. It's Sony just money hatting. It's like it's always been that way, and it's always gonna be that way. It's never gonna change. This is part of the industry. It's how these players win battles in the war, and and that's just a part of it. And I guess to a certain extent, I've just been desensitized to it, and I expect it because it's a part of the business end of it. So frustration I get, understanding I also get.
right?
I understand it, but I don't condone it, I guess you could say.
And
Like Dr. Manhattan.
right. And here's the other thing too. It's going to be even funny. Avengers comes out, right? How many of us, in all honesty, in this community, with as much as love that we have for Marvel and DC, like, let's be real. How many of us are going to buy skins for microtransactions for that game? Let's be real. We're going to. That's what it is.
I know some people are going to, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a microtransaction guy, and I've avoided it almost my entire life at this point. I might have actually avoided it my entire life. I'm not sure I've ever bought a microtransaction. I don't consider DLC, like story DLC, to be microtransactions. Right. So I don't think I've ever actually bought a microtransaction.
One day you will, Drew.
I'm sure
you will.
Someday I will. You're probably right. It'll probably be like 7 Remake for like a skin or something. Yeah, probably something like that. If the price is right. But yeah, I mean, I won't get a Marvel's Avengers skins. I very highly doubt it, but a lot of people are going to, without a doubt.
I mean, I'll do the same thing with Death Stranding. If Death Stranding has microtransactions, hell yeah, I'll be there. Avengers, hell yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. I've done it. I get it. I'm part of the problem, I guess you guys could say, but I just don't do it in excessive. There's always a thing. There's always
everything in moderation.
In moderation. I like for Overwatch for me, I saw that as tipping back in the day. In a way, like when a season came out, okay, here's your $10. I wanted to buy some of the crates. Great. I played the rest of it that way. That was a tip for the season. Congratulations.
Yep.
That's how it is.
Well, we got one more story here in the level updates. Let's talk a little bit about Game Pass. Vince, take it away.
All right. So the topic here is Game Pass causes gamers to play more games even outside of Game Pass. GameIndustry.biz writes, subscribers to Xbox Game Pass are buying more titles and trying a wider variety of genres than they did before joining. That's the message from ID at Xbox lead Agostino Simonetta. I'm sorry if I butchered that name.
That's exactly how I would have said it.
Yeah, who shared the data from the subscription service with attendees at yesterday's GameIndustry.biz investment summit in London. People that join a subscription are way more engaged. Well, they have a lot of free games to play, but actually they're way more engaged outside of subscription. They go out to stores and buy more games than they did just before they joined. We're leading on subscription. Developers are going to go on the journey with us, and we're seeing them publicly commenting. The After Party team the other day said we're seeing their game go on Game Pass day and date. Suddenly they were seeing a lot of sales on other platforms. No More Robots said when Descents went in the Game Pass from Xbox Game Preview, they saw a positive impact on other platforms. Now, what's great about this type of discussion here is this actually kind of helps feed into that whole thing that you and I have the very similar viewpoints. How is Game Pass sustainable?
What's its long-term goal here? Because they can't be making money on this right now, right?
Right.
Right?
And here's the thing, and someone from the Xbox camp is going to need to help me out, but if I recall, if you are subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, you get a 10% price reduction on everything on the Xbox store. Is that correct?
I think that's right.
So here's my thing. Are we seeing people more engaged because we're seeing like an Amazon Prime or a Gamers Club Unlock type deal where it's like, hey, this new game, instead of being $60 now, it's $47.99? Are we seeing that magical price point being hit? Are we seeing that just being a thing to where people see a 10% reduction? People go, oh my God, I gotta buy. Is it a sale? Like, is that a
Do you
lead element
think
there?
that they're doing what like Disney Plus is doing, for example, where like I was able to get in on Disney Plus for like $3 a month for 3 years essentially. So I'm locked in, right? And
Right.
after that, maybe they're hoping I'm going to be like, I can't leave this after
Yeah.
3 years. Do you think that right now, like you can get Game Pass Ultimate for like $2? That's what I did.
Right.
I played Gears 5, I played Blair Witch. I'll never subscribe again to Game Pass potentially, but I got to play those games for $2. Do you think that that's their hope, is that they're going to get these people in on the low price and then they're going to raise it up, maybe not even to $10 what it was originally, but maybe even eventually they raise it up to like $15 a month? Like,
I mean,
like Uplay Plus. I mean, Uplay Plus is $15 a month, right?
yeah, Uplay Plus is $15 a month for honestly not. I mean, it's a lot of games, but at the same time, it's also just Ubisoft's games.
Right.
It's not anyone
So
else.
Game Pass, I mean, I feel like they could get away with $15 a month.
I think they could too, and that's the thing, that it's a good another good combo discussion I had with Mike about it, and we also talked about that too here a little bit. Was I think it's a combination of yeah, they're just hoping people forget about it and they make money off that.
Yep.
B, you got your game for free. Here's your microtransactions. Stop bitching.
Right.
That. And then C, if you're engaging customers from a level to where like, okay, you have this perk now where it's 10% off. I don't know. It sucks to lose that perk, doesn't it? Even if it's so insignificant, you're like, I don't want to lose that perk. I don't want to lose that 10%, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Maybe that's the combination that we're seeing there, and I totally think they're gonna have to raise the price on it for sure.
Yeah, so X1 Bro says Game Pass $10 a month, Game Pass Ultimate at $15 a month. I think Game Pass like OG, like the base form of it, I could see that going up as well myself.
Yeah, I mean,
As time goes on, I could see that going up.
I honestly see Ultimate going up to $24.99 a month.
Right.
That's what I truly think we'll see them take it to.
They're doing the Disney Plus thing where they're getting everybody in, especially right now. Everybody just get in on this and get them hooked, hopefully, or complacent, like where they don't realize what the hell's going on, and then raise the price up later.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is interesting to see exactly what Microsoft is going to do here. I do think, again, I'm still kind of skeptical a little bit on the sustainability on Game Pass, but if developers are making money from it and we're seeing that success branch out into other platforms, then that can only be a good thing. You know?
For sure. I'm almost more curious in their trajectory than PlayStation's. Well, because it's so unorthodox right now.
It's unorthodox, and plus we don't know. This could be their last hardware generation. This could be their last. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that they are just a complete randomness to it,
Yeah.
Especially if they are really trying to get their publishing arm in order, and they want to start publishing on Nintendo and they want to start publishing on Sony. I mean, that's some weird times coming, man.
Weird times ahead. That is the level update, everybody. Let's do one wheel spin here. Don't forget, anything worth $5 more will get you a spin of the prize wheel. This one is for King Kurt 757 and his Twitch Prime resub of 17 months. We've got 15 XP to the entire room. Also, we got 42 people in the room. If anybody here is new and you're enjoying the stream, hope you are, hit that heart button. Twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever we're live. We're about to take a short little break here. Going to go to a 90-second commercial break, and when we come back, we got our trailer of the week, and we'll get into our rapid fire news roundup. So hold on tight. Guitar Freak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 281. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, if you're enjoying the stream, hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. I'm on every single weekday. I'm a full-time variety streamer. You can check out the schedule by typing in !schedule in the chat. Also, we've got a great Discord. Type in !Discord in the chat. Become a part of the community even when I am not live. And of course, we like to support those to support us. So if you want to go above and beyond, if you want to sub, that will give you a spin of the prize wheel. If you want to tip or cheer, those give you spins of the prize wheel. Any type of support of that manner will give you a spin. We also have our 30-minute after show possible tonight and 60-minute after show possible tonight. So if we get our $30 goal, it'll be 30 minutes. $60 goal will be 60 minutes. And our most recent follow came in from Anushka, I think. Anushka, thanks so much for that follow. Actually, happened right before the show started. But to anybody who is brand new here, I hope you are enjoying the stream and I hope you stick around and become a part of this community. We are about to head into our trailer of the week. Let's get the TV in play here. Now, we were really hoping, both Vince and I, that the English version of this trailer would drop today, but it ended up not happening. So we're going to have to take a look at the Death Stranding launch trailer without understanding it. It doesn't even have subtitles, like English subtitles. Nothing. Yeah. So
I mean, I know a couple words, but I can't hear that. I can't hear and translate that fast in my head.
Yeah. Vince, do you have it loaded up and ready to go?
I have it loaded up, ready to go from the official PlayStation Japan account on YouTube.
That's
correct?
exactly what I have loaded into my video playlist
Perfect.
here. All right, let's do this. Let's check out this trailer for Death Stranding. I'll give you a 3, 2, 1. Vince, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
アメリカの時代は終わった。アメリカもその再建計画もまだ生きている。孤立した都市と都市をつなぎ直す。そのために君の力を借りたい。サム、北米大陸をもう一度つなぎ直してくれ。
再び都市連合を作らなければ人類は滅びてしまう。
これまでで最も長く困難な配送となるはずだ。
This hoverboard man.
Yeah.
俺には奴らは見えない。感じるだけだ。だからこいつを持ってきた。ブリッジベイビーか。あまり気分のいいものじゃない。あの世とつながるわけだからな。ゾッとする。
Get some ups, man.
I love it.
君は本気でこの世をつなごうと考えてるのか。
人は孤立する生き物じゃない。寄り添ってお互いを補う生き物だから。この国を生き返らせてみんながもう一度つながらないと。
アメリカを再建しても奴らはいなくならない。絶滅は避けられない。奴らがいる限り。
いいえ、まだ希望はある。
もうすぐ君に本物を見せてあげる。世界はどこまでもつながってる。
Mads in Japanese, man.
Mads in Japanese.
だからここを出たら月にだって行けるんだ。
I don't know what you're saying.
But I love it. Whisper sweet nothings into my ear, please.
Yeah, so it's a well put together trailer, I feel like, but we were talking in the commercial break, clearly not a Hideo Kojima trailer.
Definitely not.
It just doesn't have the music that what Hideo Kojima would use. It's like that, you know, bombastic, like, you know, Inception type music used in a launch trailer. Similar to what happened with Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, where it was so obvious that they did not have Hideo Kojima put together the launch trailer. A lot of shots that we've already seen in there, too. Not a lot of new stuff that I haven't seen before. But the way it was cut together was exciting. I enjoyed all of that, especially those final shots kind of zipping through all the different characters, including Mads. Who, by the way, do we know Mads Mikkelsen's name in this game?
Cliff.
Cliff, that's it. I knew
Cliff.
I
Yep.
thought we knew it.
Yeah. Cliff, because then Troy's is fuck. What is it?
I always get him and Cliff messed up all the time.
Migs. It starts with an M. Does it start with an M? Higgs. Yeah, those two characters especially are very interesting. Why do you think that they didn't have an English launch trailer for this? Do you think it's because it's not Hideo Kojima trailer?
Yeah, I would assume this might be 2 marketing points just kind of doing their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they're hard at work at gold certification and whatnot. So
yeah. But there are people playing it, and we're going to get to that in a moment because we're going to get into some review conversation a little later on. But there are people playing the game. There are spoilers out there. There are people talking about the game.
And you guys will not go to sleep at all tonight because I have a very long. I'm just kidding.
Here we go. We're going to get into a real spiel, but that's not yet. Let's leave the launch trailer behind, and we'll get into that story coming up pretty soon. But right now, we got to get into those smaller stories as we do every week and what we call rapid fire news roundup. Ha!
There you go. Very nice. Nice, enthusiastic, and quick.
All right. So first up in the rapid fire news roundup, let's get into that September NPD results. We're going to start off with software here. Coming in at number 20, still just barely holding on. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. From there, we got Catherine. Marvel Spider-Man still holding on in the top 20. Plants vs. Zombies. Battle for Neighborville. I didn't even know this was a thing. Yep. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Number 15, we got Red Dead Redemption 2. Then Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Smash Brothers Ultimate. Grand Theft Auto 5, not in the top 10, but still holding on strong. It actually dropped down a lot in comparison to where it usually is. Grand Theft Auto 5 is usually like top 10, even top 5. Minecraft also down there a little lower than usual, down there at like 11 or so. Mario Kart 8 in the top 10. NHL 20, Code Vein, Gears 5 at number 7, which we'll talk about. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, number 6, and the top 5. Madden NFL 20, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening at number 4. FIFA 20, Borderlands 3 at number 2, and NBA 2K20, always one of the best-selling games of every year, the number 1 for the month. So let's start off with Gears 5 and talk about it being at number 7. So there's a note here from Matt Piscatella. Gears 5 debut at number 7 may seem disappointing at first, but it's important to remember that it is part of Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass subscription program. Anyone can get the game as part of that membership for just $10 per month. I got it for $2 a month. And Microsoft has just had a number of promotions, as he says as well. So yeah, this is the thing. And this is why it's a question of like, how is this going to work in the long run? If you've got enough savvy people like myself, they're going to do what I did and spend $2, play the game, and unsubscribe the Game Pass. How are they not losing money? The game is at number 7. This is a game that 100% should have been in the top 5, even top 3 potentially, if Game Pass wasn't a thing. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Yeah, it's just really weird. Where is the profitability coming from their first party studios dumping in a whole bunch of money that way? And then here you go. You're getting like $250 from a game on Game Pass.
Right.
It's just crazy.
That's Gears 5. Imagine Halo Infinite though.
Yeah, don't.
Imagine how many lost $60 sales they're going to have on that game. So many people, so many people would buy that at a full $60.
Right.
But a lot of them might just do the single player campaign now. They might just do a month of multiplayer and unsubscribe from Game Pass. Like, I feel like that game especially makes me wonder, like, how is this all going to work?
I agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. It is a very weird one.
Borderlands 3 set a new franchise launch month sales record, debuting as the second best-selling game of September. Borderlands 3 currently ranks as the third best-selling game of the year. By the way, Anthem got pushed down to number 7 for the year now, as I was predicting last week. I said I don't think it's going to hold on to the top 5 after this month.
I can't believe an early access game still is in top 7. I will never let that comment go. Just so
never.
Anyone
you
on
shouldn't.
This channel, you'll never ever see me let go of that comment.
Don't let it go.
Was
never
so
let go,
furious
Jack.
the day I heard that.
And it's the same old hardware.
Same
results. Switch number 1, PS4 number 2, Xbox One S/X at number 3. Moving on from that, this is what I want to talk about with Death Stranding. The review embargo is lifting 1 week before release. That is a very good sign for Sony. They show a pattern of confidence for games that are that far out in front of release with the lifting embargo. God of War, for example, was about 8 days, if I remember right. So for that reason, I want to ask a question that we have asked before. I'm going to ask you guys again. What do you predict the Metacritic will be for this game? Now, going into this week, I would have guessed 85 to 89, but I'm going to lower that, actually.
You are too as well, huh?
I'm going to lower it down to 80 to 84.
Ugh.
After what I've been reading this week.
Ugh.
And you're in the same boat. I could tell you're starting to come to the realization that this game is not going to review near as well as you thought, aren't you?
No. What I'm going to say is this, though, is it's going to be an 85, 89 for me still. It's still,
Okay.
I swear, I still think it's going to hit. The thing right now.
You said 97 last week, Vince.
I know, but that was also because I was being part of Trash Talk Tuesday.
Okay.
you
All
know,
right.
I mean, just so everyone knows when that was Tuesday, that was me just being extra salty because of being Trash Talk Tuesday. And also Mike and Johnny kept killing me in Fortnite because they're jerks. But in reality, would I want the game to be a 97? I want this game to be a 97 because it's its own thing. And we need more of that in game development. But the realist aspect of me is also like, if you do something wacky and weird, also a majority of people go, what the fuck is this shit? Pardon my language.
Yep.
And they don't buy it. So I get it. Now, how much have you read? Because this is
I read enough to see that there is a large portion of people already playing this game that are saying that it takes 8 hours to get interesting, that it's nothing but walking for 3 hours at a time, that it's incredibly repetitive, that story cutscenes are as long as Metal Gear Solid 4, which is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. You don't get a gun for like 10 hours, some people are saying. Like, all these things are like red flags to me. Not that I'm not going to like it, but that a lot of people are not going to like this game.
But here's the thing. And I've been to the other side on it. Today freaked me out enough to where I was like, I gotta know. So I went to the other side. I went and looked. Luckily, I didn't get spoiled too much on a lot of stuff. Here's the thing. Those people you're quoting, even their impression still in the spoiler thread, they're saying the game's still an 8, the game's still a 9. It's just very awkward. It's very weird.
Right.
Very
You're right.
repetitive.
That's why I'm saying 84. 80 to 84. Here's the thing. There are I can almost guarantee you there will be more than one major critic that gives this game a 5.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I can agree with that completely.
And that's going to be enough that it's going to really hurt this game's score.
But it's also weird to me is why would Sony have the confidence behind this to put that?
Because it's
at
Hideo
1 week?
Kojima.
I don't think so. I truly don't think that's just it too. Like, you got to think they are testing that a lot. Mark Cerny's been part of it. Sho Yoshida's been there as well. I don't know. I do think there's definitely much more of a calculated risk here with it. And the other thing too is, from what I've heard from everyone else, is that the back half of the game is batshit fucking crazy, and it's amazing.
I have a feeling that's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to start slow and it's going to ramp up and get crazy.
And here's my thing too: is that Red Dead
how
Redemption,
many people are going to make it that far, though? Is the question.
Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 suffers the same issue.
Yeah,
and it's hailed as the game of the generation right now.
Well, that's the big one that a lot of people are focusing on is Giant Bomb and the one reviewer, Dan, what's his name?
That's stupid. I'm sorry.
Saying that this game makes him appreciate Red Dead Redemption 2,
Okay.
which he hated.
Let's talk about Dan Reichert for a second there.
Yeah.
Dan doesn't like games, period.
He does love Metal Gear Solid.
He loves Metal Gear Solid, but he doesn't love Kojima. And that's the thing too, is he didn't like Metal Gear Solid 3. Anything that starts getting systemic for him, he's out of it. It's how he is. It's not his style of game. And so whenever people were like trying to treat that as like the Hail Mary behind, well, this game's bad, this game's gonna be garbage. It's like, you do not understand. The dude dropped Witcher 3. The dude dropped Breath of the Wild. He dropped Red Dead 2. You know.
But if he's the one that reviews this game,
he's not Giant Bomb.
He's not the one that's reviewing it?
He's not reviewing it. It's the female. I want to say Amy. It's
Okay.
Amy who's reviewing it.
okay.
But like, my thing too is like, again, no, and like there's been some impressions too that I've also had to make fun of in a way. It's like the bike. I've heard complaints about the bike, saying the train's not there for the bike. And it's like, yeah, no shit, the train's not there for the bike, because the hook of the game is for the people to keep using the bike, and the next thing you know, there's a road there. So like everyone's kind of complaining this whole thing about like they're playing this game with the non-social stuff going on right now, where the whole game is going to live and breathe by a social aspect of it. And that's going to be the hard thing for me.
Yeah, but
to
all these
do.
reviews are not going to have that aspect unless they do a delayed review, which not a lot of reviewers are going to do.
Right. So I mean, that's it's going to be a hard thing there. I don't know. I'm down for it. The only thing that's brought into question for me is holding on to my collector's edition. That's been the only thing that's been my big question mark now. Is like,
Okay.
$200 now seem justifiable for something that might get an 85, 89, or even lower 80, 84. Like, I love the game and I love everything that's going to do about it, but at the same time, it's like, would I just be better spending the $80 instead of the $200? Like, as much as I love it, it's like, is it justifiable? Like, now if it was like a 97, hell fucking yeah, I want to keep that because I could sell that for, you know, a lot later. It's just weird.
I do agree that PlayStation doing the full week is weird considering what I'm reading right now, because this game, from what I've heard, has more pre-orders than anything Hideo Kojima has ever done at this point in its cycle. And like, they're running the risk of this game having a week in front of launch getting 5s and people canceling the pre-orders.
Let me remind everyone here too about this too, is God of War actually dealt with the exact same thing. God of War had 4 impressions that came in, with one Russian review dropping early and giving the game 7.5. It was about like 4 days before. It was about, actually, I'm sorry, it was a week before the review embargo hit. And people literally went nuclear. People thought, holy shit, Sony has a dud on their hand. And then look.
Well, that's nothing compared to when this game gets a 4.
Right, but no, but it's the exact same thing. Even the people on the insider thread there are still talking about, like, a lot of these impressions aren't lining up. For a while there, they even thought about canceling the spoiler thread because things weren't matching up with people.
Yeah.
Like, some guy was saying one thing, another person was saying another thing. The one guy's only gotten 10 hours in and he's still saying it's a 9. You know, like, it's been weird. It's been a very weird thing. That's the problem with the impressions now, is that these leakers now have this kind of attention on them. It's the same way when people got Final Fantasy 15 early on. It's the same thing when people got God of War on.
Yep.
It sucks to hear that people are going to, you know, the prediction. I've seen it. People are dropping their Metacritic predictions. And that's kind of why I'm hoping it kind of just comes out of the gate with complete 10s. And it's just, it destroys humanity.
I'll be the happiest person in the world. But I was already in the mid 8s, honestly. Like, that's, right. I'm just saying, like, now I'm thinking low 8s. So, like, I'm not like going incredibly lower, but I'm feeling more reassured in my predictions before that this game is going to be decisive, polarizing to the point where I wouldn't be surprised that there's more people that hate it than love it.
Yeah, I can understand that too. As long as we're getting, for me, it just has to be around an 84 for me to be happy. I don't care. It's whatever. I still don't think it's going to drop below an 80. I mean, if it drops below an 80, then we're talking nuclear. We're talking complete nuclear meltdowns.
Yeah, people will act that way. I still don't think it's that big a deal. It's like, okay, like, the guy made a game that's polarizing, and he said that was going to happen anyway. He said this game is going to be polarizing, so it actually is what he said it's going to be. People are going to act like it's the biggest thing in the world, and PlayStation is doomed, and Hideo Kojima is doomed, and it's going to be this. I'm just going to check out. I'll probably just disconnect from the internet for a couple weeks, but.
And that's honestly been my biggest thing that I've been disappointed with people, gamers, people who watch stuff, people who get involved with this stuff. And it's been the most frustrating thing. And I think I've vented this to you in a way. I freaking hate how he said, this is going to be a different game. We're going to do this. And then the 2018 trailer showed up and it's like, you're going to do a lot of walking. People are like, well, where's the twist?
Walking simulator.
Right. Or walking simulator. And then everyone's like, keeps acting like this game's going to have something else in it. It's like, it's not. Like, and that's the thing. Does it need to, you know, like, I don't know. I agree with you. It's going to be interesting. I'm really hoping, really hoping that it sits at an 85, 89. I would love it to be a 93 because 93 means it's on par with the critical reviews of Metal Gear Solid 5. It's higher than most Metal Gear Solid games.
Well, that's just going to always be like this. I can almost guarantee you I'm going to like this game more than Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, that game having a 93 plus to me is just like, it shows to me that I can't trust this shit anyway. So, like, that's just it's so against what I feel as far as the Metal Gear Solid franchise, where that one falls. So, you know, if this game gets a 79, I mean, honestly, it's not going to be that big a deal to me. Yeah. I really don't care. I'll be playing it no matter what. So, my opinion is what matters at the end of the day.
Actually, no, my opinion matters, and I am the authority on Death Stranding, so everyone has to listen to me. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That's arrogant. I apologize. Sorry, everyone.
Moving on from that, Riot Games announces a character shooter. They're calling it Project F. So this looks a lot like Counter-Strike to me, with the Overwatch skin over it, and of course the character shooter aspect of it making it seem similar to Overwatch as well. What do you think, though? We have like a little video here and we get to see a little bit of gameplay of it. What's your vibe on it so far, Vince?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I'm sorry.
Is there space in character shooters? Like,
don't think so. Like, we have Rocket League. We have Rocket League. Oh my God, I'm blending
Rocket
games
League.
together. My bad. We have Siege. We have Overwatch. I just, uh, I don't think. And honestly, Riot Games is the exact same way for me with like Activision Blizzard is right now. They are not a good company, especially to their development teams.
Oh yeah, there's so much
They're
shit that happens there.
awful. And it's one of those things of like, I don't know. Here's my thing. I hope for the development team, there's some really cool action elements going on here. There's some really cool moments here, and I'm hoping the development team has fun, that it's successful for them and everything like that. I just can't get excited for another first-person character shooter that's not one of the established ones in there, unless it does something completely brand new. And that's the thing, is I'm not seeing anything really brand new here, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, right now it's hard. It's early, obviously,
Right.
to talk about brand new, but yeah, it looks like it's trying to stick in that lane. It's not trying to do anything too crazy as we're seeing here. I just more so wonder, like, are people going to care when they have Overwatch and maybe even Overwatch 2? Like, is there enough space for two big players to battle it out? That'll be exciting to see to an extent, as an outsider looking in, which is what I will be ultimately.
Right.
Moving on from that. This was kind of a small little thing that I saw. That's why it's in the rapid fire. But Final Fantasy VIII writer talked about a hypothetical Laguna side game. Now, have you played 8, Vince?
A long time ago, dude.
ago.
I actually
So,
watched you more.
Laguna is a like a side character, but he is also like a playable character. You get to see his story by watching dreams that the main characters have. It turns out to actually be the past, not actually dreams, but they're seeing the past. So a lot of people, including myself, love the Laguna sides of the game. They're really enjoyable. So Najima, one of the writers, he said, at first Laguna's parts were much bigger. They were making around half of Final Fantasy VIII. But as development went on, they got shorter and shorter. The staff worked really hard to make a map for Laguna's parts too, but in the end, it's barely used in the final game. I always felt bad about that and couldn't apologize enough to the staff. Najima went on to say, it would focus on the Laguna's life. I want to show more of his story. He's talking about if there were to be an actual game dedicated to telling Laguna's story. But Mitsu said, it's true Laguna's story parts are really popular, to which Najima said, but maybe the segments are so popular because they are so short. But yes, this game would be about showing Laguna's bad points, and then at the very end, it would show his cool side. But for it to work well, he'd really need to be depicted as a clown for most of the game, which is the case. He's an embarrassing, cringy character, but that's what's enjoyable about him, is seeing his transformation. I would personally not want to see more. I think he's right when he says the segments are so popular because they're so short. Right. They don't overstay their welcome. You get just enough of his story to enjoy the character and want more. But I think if they gave you more, it would be like, oh, now he's sort of like the mystery is gone to a certain extent. Like we know everything now. Like I like sort of filling in the gaps of his story myself and trying to piece together what might have happened in between those dream segments. So I hope they never try for that. I don't think that they ever would. But it's kind of cool to know like that he was supposed to be a much bigger part of the story. Like literally he says half of the game was supposed to be Laguna originally. Like, whoa, that's completely different game.
That is a completely different game. That's crazy.
Yeah. I love like little behind the scenes stuff like that.
Behind the scenes stuff is always the best, man. It's always great to see how games aren't as simple as what people try to make them be. Yeah. You know, there's a lot that goes on with them.
There's actually an inside the Final Fantasy VIII thing on Square Enix's YouTube right now. It's like a 20-minute long thing where a lot of the major players that were involved with the development of that game talk about like their memories of it and their favorite moments. If you like Final Fantasy VIII, I really recommend watching it. I thought it was a good watch. Moving on from that, going back to Halo Infinite, one of the developers, ensures that there is no creative dilemma. This is, of course, coming after another departure recently at 343 Industries. This developer said, quote, Tim's role as creative director was to help make creative decisions around the design and the direction of the game, whether it was the campaign, multiplayer, etc. He left several months ago. Mary took over. Mary's role, continues the quote here, as an executive producer and then lead producer on campaign was to help drive the game to its completion for our holiday 2020 release date, with the latter specifically focusing on campaign deliverables. Unfortunately, the thread's title saying he was replaced with Mary Olsen and she also left is far from accurate. It implies that Mary took over creative control of the entire game, didn't like what she saw, and then decided to leave. If that's what actually happened, I could totally understand getting worried, but that isn't the case, as she was a lead producer and not a creative director. There's no creative dilemma going on inside the studio, and there's no writing on the walls. The entire Halo Infinite team is rallying behind the game and is working hard to make sure that we can execute on its vision. My question is, okay, if she did not take over as creative director, who did? Who's leading this?
That was my thing whenever he made that statement. I was like, so who's your CD then?
You need a leader. Like, you have to have somebody driving the ship.
Like that was my thing. Yeah, people were people were in the thread at first saying that's not a big deal. People like this happens all the time. And I was like, but we don't even know who the replacement is.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. And this game has not shown gameplay. Can I remind everyone that? It has not shown gameplay. It has shown game render targets, but it has not actually shown gameplay. So, I don't know. I don't.
The big question mark right now for me. I wonder if it gets delayed. What do you think?
I would have to assume so.
It might be, maybe it's just all smoke and no fire though. Like, maybe they've got it all worked out and they're just not telling us what's going on in there. But I feel like if they could really appease, some of the concerns right now by just saying like, who took over? Like, who's leading this right now? Who's in control? I like to know that kind of thing when two departures happen, a couple months apart, back to back like that.
And that's the other thing too, is like, I just don't know, like, what is your direction in the game? We've heard a lot of impressions on, like, it's supposed to be like a Destiny, like with Halo, and it's an open world-ish sandbox RPG now, and so it's like, what's your direction there? Like, what's going on there? Is it day and night? Like, I don't know. It's one of those things, especially with that being pinioned as for like the Xbox Scarlet's launch title. It's like
right, exactly what X1 Bro said. It would be disastrous, right, to delay it. But if it's, would it be even more disastrous though if it came out and was awful as a launch title for Scarlet?
He would definitely
that might be even more disastrous.
Yeah, he would definitely have a better opinion on that than say someone like I would, because I'm like not invested in Halo whatsoever.
Not me either.
And it's just one of those things of like, I don't know. And that's my question too, is why would the creative director leave before your game ships?
Over a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes this happens when you get really close to release because like the game is essentially done. The vision has been accomplished.
Right.
At this point, I would be very surprised if the vision is accomplished.
Right. Or where's the rough around the edges aspects of it that still are not finished yet? Like that's, I don't know. Maybe
I hope for the best, because I said it last week. I want Halo to be awesome.
Right.
I don't have really a horse in this race because I don't play the Halo series. But I used to love watching my cousins play that game. I love the atmosphere and the vibe of that game. If I was an Xbox guy, I'd be playing it. I want this game to be so freaking awesome. But this kind of stuff just makes me a little concerned.
Same here.
Yeah. Moving on from that to another sad story, in my opinion, because I don't want to see this from Remedy. But Control's latest PC patch has caused nothing but problems. Did you see this, Vince?
I saw a very brief segment of it. I did not do much research into
this. They patched the purpose of the patch was to add DRM, which is kind of weird because the game's out.
Right.
It's too late. So the purpose of the patch was to add DRM. The problem is that it removed Steam controller support as well. And another thing it did, hold on a sec, I can tell you the other part. I forgot to write it down. Control patch issues. Let's see if I can find here. Polygon. Oh, that's from September. Let me go to Rosetta right here and see if I can get this cleaned up, because there was one other thing that sounded like a pretty important problem. Here it is. Now we removed offline playability.
Yeah,
that's pretty huge.
That's what it was. That was pretty huge.
Yeah, so this patch was just nothing but a disaster, really. So they did roll it back. They rolled it back to the previous, and they said that they're going to work on an update that's only going to add on DRM and not mess up Steam controller support and offline playability. But even in DRM, like I have to say, like I don't understand it. Like why?
It was cracked within 2 days.
Yeah.
The original DRM. DRM is one of those weird things. Like, I just don't know why people keep trying to push it. Your piracy is going to become a thing. It's always going to be a thing no matter what you do. DRM does not solve that. People see it upon themselves to break the DRM so that way they can host the cracked one on it. They do it all the time.
Yep.
So I don't get it. DRM is a losing battle. You're wasting all our PC resources when we're trying to play the game. Just stop it. Just stop it and deal with it. Like, here's another thing. You know what's stupid about the Uplay Plus?
What's that?
There's a little side story here. So Uplay Plus, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm sitting there going, Ubisoft, come on. You gotta be smarter than this. So I loaded up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I was like, I never played it on PC. Let me just check it out. And I was like, I was gonna do some mods for it and whatnot. And I was like, oh, there's not really a lot of mods on there except for some other ones, which I was like, that's kind of weird. Why are we doing this? Gamers suck. But then I looked at the files and I was like, well, I can't do this one mod unless I get into the executable. And then I saw on every Uplay Plus version of the game on PC, not only is there the executable like Assassin's Creed Odyssey.exe, right? There is also another exe called Assassin's Creed Odyssey _plus. It's half the size, and what it is it is the executable checks the plus executable as a DRM solver, so that way if your plus runs out, it can't launch.
Oh wow!
And I was just like,
okay.
But at the same time, it's also half the size.
Why? Why would it be half the size?
I don't know. And I was like, so I have to deal with an executable running on top of another executable for me to play these plus versions of these games.
It's weird.
It is weird. I was like, why? Why would you do this? This makes no sense to me.
There's a reason.
There has to be a reason, but it's just one of those things of like, ugh, DRM sucks, man.
All right, let's get into the final story of the Rapid Fire News Roundup. And closing off the show today, we got a rumor for you. Black Friday deals might be popping up for you guys. We got Walmart, supposedly, and their Black Friday deals. And they're solid, man. If these turn out to be true, take a look at this, man. I'm ready. We've got a PS4 Slim 1 terabyte at $150. That's $150 off. PS4 Pro at $299. That's $100 off. Xbox One all digital edition, all digital edition with Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Horizon 3 for $150. A regular Nintendo Switch for $199. No, what? These are red flags to me. And Switch Lite for $149.
No way.
That thing just came out. You're gonna drop it $50 already? I call shenanigans. I don't know. This seems a little too good to be true, doesn't it?
I call complete shenanigans. Shenanigans have been had, and they have been called.
Yeah, this would be amazing if true. That $149 PS4 is going to kill if that's the case. Absolutely murder. It's a shame that the Xbox went with all digital if that's the case, because that just ruins it, in my opinion. That ruins it.
I'm sorry. I just... It's sad to see the Xbox sad. I can't do it. $149. I was like, guys, that's still $50 too much. Like, put that thing to $99.
If it's the all digital, yeah.
Yeah, just be crazy. Go all freaking out for Microsoft. Just do it. Just do $100.
And according to this, there's like no regular Xbox One deal. There's only a deal in the all digital edition. Like, that's the kind of stuff that makes me wonder on this one.
Yeah,
I don't know. They've got to have a deal on the regular one too. They can't just have a deal on the all digital edition.
And I mean the X. I would assume that they would have to have a deal on the X, right?
Right. You would think.
The Switch Lite though, no way. No.
Yeah, Switch Lite for $150. That would be amazing.
Shenanigans.
That thing is going to sell out quickly if that's the case.
That's the only
regular Nintendo Switch 2 though. That's $100 off for the regular Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is going to murder it, absolutely decimate this holiday if these are true.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be. I mean, I would have to say,
but all of them are gonna do well.
Limited, yeah.
End of the generation, as Xbox One Bro says. I mean, it's possible.
It is possible.
It happened.
It is crazy. I don't
want to be there at Walmart. I'll tell you that.
Nope.
I'm staying home.
Me too.
Keep me out of here. Get me out of here. That'll be me if I was there. Holy shit! I don't even want to see the gifts this year. No. People will be brawling, absolutely brawling.
Yeah.
I love like the lead up though to Black Friday, just like seeing all the deals and people getting hyped up, and it's a good time.
People lose their minds. It's ridiculous.
Losing their minds. I used to love going out on Black Friday, but then they ruined it by making it not start at midnight, or I actually even liked it more than that when they just started in the morning. Like, get up early and the store opens at 6 a.m. or whatever. Get there a few hours early.
Yeah.
I used to love that. Now it's like, then it moved to midnight. I was like, okay, all right. But then it moved to like 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving. It's like, it's broken. You ruined it. It's not Black Friday anymore. You ruined it.
Yep. Nope. It's
It's dumb. I hate it.
Huda Reaper says, I went 1 year. We basically got what we wanted and ran to the front and checked out in 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, if you get there early enough or get lucky enough, yeah, you can be in and out pretty quickly. One of my best purchases was probably our last year in the apartment. We got our 55-inch Panasonic. They had one left. We waited in line at the Best Buy, and we got the last one. It was... I think we got it for $700 at that time, which was a really good price for it. That was probably one of the best I've done. But what about you, Vince? What's been your best Black Friday purchase ever?
I've never done one, to be honest. I don't take part in that stuff because to me, here's the thing. I usually work Black Friday
Let me know
in
the
restaurant. And so I just think it's crazy what we do as society from that standpoint. I'm just like, it's just one day and people literally go out of their ways to be assholes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. And honestly, every time around this time of year is when I usually don't have like a lot of funds for stuff like that. So it's just, I never take advantage of it. Someday when I could probably take advantage of that type of stuff. Absolutely. But for the most part, I'm usually on top of everything that I want. Same thing with my wife. She's usually on top of everything that she likes.
Yeah.
And so it's, none of these ads ever really truly grab us. And the other thing too is we both just don't like going out that late, like, or even that early sometimes. So just like,
Yeah.
My family's gotten more and more into it, but I'm just like, there's no way. I can't do it. I also don't like crowds. So you put me in a crowd situation like that, when it's like something like that, I'll just start swinging left and right. It's just, it's not claustrophobia. It's an anxiety that can happen there. That is just
I get it. It's gotten pretty crazy over the years.
Yeah.
We got 50 people in the room, and we're wrapping it up. Welcome to the 50 people that are here. If any of you are new, this was the Level Up Show, episode 281. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/Level Up Show if you enjoyed it. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. I'm on every single weekday. Vince just posted our Discord as well. If you want to check out our Discord, become a part of the community when I'm not live, go to that link there, discord.gg/Level Up Network. If you want to learn more about my full-time variety streaming schedule, I'm on every single weekday, 40 to 50 hours a week of streaming. Type in !schedule in the chat to get that. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the full-time dream and what's left of it, subs, tips, cheers, of course, means so much to me. Thank you so much to everybody tonight for supporting Doug with his Twitch Prime sub of 20 months and King Kurt with his Twitch Prime sub of 17 months. You guys are amazing. Appreciate both of you so much. And everybody that watched, lurkers, chatters, viewers, whatever, everybody who was here, thank you so much for being here. Vince as well, of course, special guest, tech guru, Agent Vincent. Guys, give him that follow as well at Agent Vincent 4756.
You got it. Every time you get it, man. You're getting it.
I always feel like I'm getting it wrong, but it turns out I'm getting it right.
Nope.
Why don't you put a little message there in chat so people can click on your name there, Vince?
Oh gosh. Can I type?
Do it.
I said, I'm doing it. Why is there it is. Keyboard's working now.
Hi.
That's like,
there he is, guys. Give Vince that follow. He's also a streamer. He was just doing Assassin's Creed Odyssey today. He streams many days a week, just like myself, variety streamer. So support Vince, because he's been helping me out a lot over the last couple weeks in this sort of transitional period where we're trying to figure out like what the Level Up Show becomes, and while Mike is trying to figure out what he can do as well, Vince has been a big support. Good to have it. X1 Bros, it was awesome having you here. Got to give a shout out to X1 Bros, of course. Guys, X1 Bros is the premier talk show of Mixer. They talk all things Xbox One. And they are the one to go to. If you want any news on Xbox, go to mixer.com/X1Bros and at least give them that follow. Such a great group of guys over there. They are kind of what we used to be, I guess I could say. They still have that team vibe. They still have 3 guys getting together every week, talking about games and the love for games, positivity around games, specifically Xbox. So go over there and check those guys out. They're the best.
Yeah,
we're always happy to have them around.
You need to do that. You need to go and give them that follow on Mixer, because if you don't, you're kind of just, not
kind of an asshole, honestly.
Well, not even being an asshole. You're missing out a really cool thing on your day, to be honest. So
yeah,
why
they're
not?
on Friday nights with their talk show, unless it's changed. Dave, let me know if it has. But on Friday nights on Mixer with their show, and it's such a well produced show with great personalities and great discussion. We aspire to be Level Up. You guys have long surpassed us. X1.
Wait,
long time ago, you surpassed us.
So wait,
Congrats on all your success.
Have they leveled up past
Yes,
the
they've
level
leveled up past us. I think we might be like around level 5. You guys, I'd say like level 7 now. You guys are at. Ebenezer Giza, it was good having you here. Thank you for lurking. You guys are all amazing. That is it for us. I'll be on in the morning with more Bloodborne. The old hunters grinding away, trying my very best to beat the Orphan of Kos. We'll see if it can actually happen this time around. And I hope to see all you guys throughout the week with gaming talk shows and game streams. Until next time, everybody, take care. And as always, don't forget to
level up.
level up.
Level up.